Let's get this party started. And happy Wednesday, and welcome to episode 39 of El Pinche Podcast. And today, hoy, we have Alex Simoes. Did I say that right? Simoes?
Close enough.
Yes.
Alex
Simoes. Yeah. From Soul Fighters. Yes, he's a Jiu-Jitsu practitioner. He is a rock star. He's a brown belt in Jiu-Jitsu.
Yeah, congratulations.
Thank you.
Congrats.
Long time brown belt.
Long time?
Yeah.
No,
3 years.
3 years.
3 years.
Damn. Oh, so you're coming up.
What's the average time between purple and brown typically?
I don't know.
Huh.
I remember it used to be like you got your purple, and then you were at purple for like 5-6 years.
Be about 5 years.
4-6 years, and then you get your brown belt, and you get a black belt in like a year. Now I think it's more like you spend 2-3 years at brown belt. Like people have kind of changed it up a little bit.
Yeah.
But I also don't know. Every school is a little different.
Yep.
Everything is different, right? So, welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thanks for having
Welcome
me.
back.
Yeah.
Welcome back.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah,
When-
I know you were
when was I
gone
here before.
You were gone for what? 2 months? It felt like 2 months.
In the summer, I was gone for 2 months. Yeah,
Yeah.
and then I was gone for probably like 4-5 weeks between December and January.
Which class time are you trying to hit up, or what's your training looking like?
Oh, man, it's not looking like anything right now. I'm consistently going Tuesday nights now.
Okay.
And I'm trying to get like Thursday afternoons and Sunday mornings again. Excuse me. But it's just so hard, man, with like life and work and everything.
Oh,
like
for sure.
end of year, beginning of year is like crazy for me at work. So it's so hard to get consistently to the gym.
Okay.
But I'm hoping to start competing again this year. Like
Good.
actually competing again. So
What
hopefully
do,
I'll be.
what do you do for work?
I work in sales and marketing.
It's
mostly.
top secret.
It's top secret.
If
No,
he-
it's hard to explain.
If he tells you, he has to kill you, just like
Or
our
sue
other
you.
guys.
I've been doing it for like 12 years.
Or
and I-
sue you?
And you
I
still
still-
can't explain
I
it?
still can't explain it. Yeah, it's I'm the head of revenue operations for a startup.
Oh,
So
all
I
right.
do like CRM administration, sales strategy, go-to-market strategy, that kind of stuff.
That sounds fancy.
Yeah, it's not very fancy at all.
It's one of those things where I've noticed with people.
Sounds like money.
It's not interesting, but they
Like
What
you
do
can
you
they
make a lot
say
of money.
like I really can't explain it, and it like pushes up the respectability
Yeah.
of it.
It's not interesting.
Yeah.
That's why it's so
See,
hard to
he's
explain.
downplaying
Yeah.
it. So ask me what I do here, Chris, real quickly.
What do you do, Joe?
Kind of an education.
Kind of in education?
I don't know.
Tell
I've
me
been
more.
doing it for like 28 years. It's kind of complicated,
Are you
just
teaching
the things-
physics?
That does sound
Well,
pretty important.
there's always a lesson in everything, and that's what I noticed with what I do. So I'm still figuring it out.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sounds interesting.
But I'm just trying to make an impact. I'm ahead of this, I'm ahead of that. My sales revenue.
Sounds important.
Yeah.
Well, I wouldn't say it's
It-
important.
It's
I'm
definitely
just
not important.
I'm just trying to do my thing. See how that works.
What's happening right now?
Nothing. Just
This is the
Keep
podcast.
going.
Joe. Joe hasn't been on in a while, so he's
you
getting
thought
back
this
on
was
his
going to be
bicycle.
serious. Oh, okay.
I actually didn't know what to expect
Good.
walking in here.
Tell us something good. Like good today, good the week, good. What's going on in your life? What's something good? Tell us something good.
I mean, what is this, like 19, 20 days sober? So that's nice.
Congratulations.
Yeah, it's a big deal.
Yeah. Tell us more.
I'm just trying to kind of get back to a point where I feel like I can compete again.
Okay.
More like I feel like I'm getting healthier. So
Mhm.
I cut carbs out for 10 days now. So,
Carbs, like what type of carbs?
like everything. I'm basically just eating like meat and fat.
Okay, more keto,
More carnivore.
Carnivore?
probably.
Okay,
so
yeah.
like 80-20 carnivore,
10-4.
but
No dairy.
we'll see.
No,
No
that-
dairy.
okay.
Actually, yes, dairy. Some like raw milk.
Okay.
What's raw milk? Are you actually do you have like a cow in the backyard and you just like squeeze it in your mouth? Like I
Basically,
don't
yeah.
understand what raw milk is.
That's exactly it. It's unpasteurized milk.
Unpasteurized. Does it have the little floating little fat layer on top?
Yeah,
Perfect.
it's pretty good.
Yeah,
You
it's
can get
good
it at
stuff.
the farmer's market
Mhm.
at
Oh, that's good.
in Georgetown.
Mhm.
So yeah,
Do you notice a difference with the milk though?
no, I noticed no difference at all.
And then
My wife is very adamant that it's like
It's a.
very very
That's
healthy
good.
and
Yeah.
much better.
I would say it has
100%.
it's
It
a
is. I
slight
agree.
creamier than like. There's a little bit more. To me, it's denser than like like pasteurized.
pasteurized
Yeah.
milk.
Yeah,
I honestly can't tell the difference. But
Are you guys talking about heavy whipping cream?
now we're talking about raw
Whipping?
milk.
Did you say whipping?
Whipping?
Whipping.
You like cool whip,
Cool
right?
whip. Say cool.
Yeah.
Cool
Say whip.
whip.
Say cool whip.
Cool Whip.
No, you didn't do it right.
Cool Whip.
Cool Whip.
Am I supposed to have my pinky up in there when I say that too? Drinking a little mimosa.
Joe, maybe.
Joe likes that Cool Whip.
So you were away. Where were you going? Trips, family?
I went to South Carolina to visit my in-laws.
Oh,
so
nice.
We're going there for like Christmas and New Year's because I have 2 small kids.
Yep.
But it's actually fun because I get to go there and like every time I go there, I visit a new gym. So like this last one, I visited 10th Planet, Greenville, and just got fucking smoked.
Oh, did you?
That was
That's
it was like the day before Christmas. I was like just going in to like hang out, and like I talked to the owner, the black belt afterwards, and he was like, "No, this is like a super small market. We don't really get a lot of people." And it was like a fucking murderer's row, man. Like everybody, no breaks. Everyone wanted to roll with me. The first roll I did, this guy like almost popped my head off. Like I literally popped a blood vessel in my eye because he squeezed my head so hard. It was rough, man. I was beat up when I left there.
Wow.
But the last time I went there, I went to another gym called Boss BJJ, and then there's like an Atus affiliate there, and there's a couple other ones. So every time I go, I try to go to a different gym.
Yeah.
Like go to an open mat or something.
What kind of vibe is like when you go to a gym? You're like, yeah, okay, cool. I landed on a good one, or do you just go for the adventure?
I mean, I'm fine anywhere I go.
Yeah.
I think like you go to a new gym, it's always like you either go and you're like an outsider and everyone tries to kill you, or it's a really, really cool. Like when we have a coffee crew, like that's a very unique vibe.
Okay.
Where like you come in and everyone is just like chill.
Yeah.
Everyone like, and it's kind of like the atmosphere that was created for that. A lot of gyms you go and it's like, especially if you're, blue belt, purple belt, brown belt, black belt. I don't know because I've never been a black belt, but
Yeah, right.
everyone tries to kill you. Like some gyms, it's like everyone tries to kill you because you're an outsider coming in and they all want to like test their jiu-jitsu or whatever.
It's like Gladiator.
Yeah. So this 10th Planet gym, I was getting like fucking buggy choke.
No.
I got heel hooked like 20 times. Like people were just like throwing everything at me.
Oh my gosh.
I had no defense whatsoever. It was ridiculous.
It was funny that, he's like, I'm going to haven't rolled in a while. I'm going to go the night before Christmas and all through the house. I went in some gym and they freaking beat the shit out of me.
Merry effing Christmas.
Merry effing Christmas.
Filthy
I
animals.
just wish I could put on a gi. This 10th Planet, like nobody.
Nobody.
So that was way better than my no-gi game. So
But that was no gi. All of it
Yeah,
was no
10th Planet.
gi. Yeah,
Yeah.
10th Planet. See,
We're going to bring up the question right now that we posed to everyone. Gi or no gi and why?
gi.
yeah. See,
Which
that's
is
what I'm
the
talking about.
which is the wrong
I love
answer,
you.
but I want to know your thinking.
So I think everyone needs to train the style of jiu-jitsu that they fell in love with, right? Because like it's so hard to stay consistent with jiu-jitsu, and if you start deviating from that, especially early on, it gets so hard to try to do both things. And like it's okay to have a specialty. Like my no-gi game is dog shit. Like I'm a blue belt no-gi, maybe a white belt even. But like I feel
Let's
like
say a 3-stripe white.
Thanks, man. I feel like I have a pretty good understanding of the gi game to the point where like I can actually play a game where I feel like I'm advancing my position and I'm not just reacting totally. Like no-gi, I just feel like I'm reacting the entire time. That's all I do. I have no offense whatsoever. I don't know how to set things up. I literally don't know how to grip because all my grips are gi style grips, and so like I'm looking for lapels. I'm looking for these things that don't exist.
Yeah.
And just switching from that to underhooks and like overhooks, it's such a transition. Some guys can do it. I can't. Like I actually at this point, when I go to coffee crew, I just take my gi and keep my gi on the entire time. And if somebody wants to roll with me, that's fine. Like they can even grab my gi, but I'm just keeping my gi on from now on.
That's cool.
There's just no point.
Yeah.
There's no point. I don't want to make my no-gi game better at this point. I just want to focus on my gi game.
Because the gi game is the real game.
I mean,
Unlike this guy.
I mean, it's a strong opinion.
Yeah.
It's a strong stance. But
Yeah, I walk around with a thick jacket and a belt and
IMO.
pants all the time.
In my opinion, I feel that gi is the real deal. You don't see, the old school Gracie, Carlos Gracie back in the day in no gi. I mean, you see him in his gi.
that's not true.
Right.
You ever see the pictures of them just wearing like
The span.
little
In the
Speedos.
sand.
sungas?
Stop
Bring that
it.
up, Jamie.
Don't even
Just
bring
like a
that
fucking
up.
How do you
wall
spell
of Gracies.
sungas?
Here we
They're all
go.
wearing Speedos.
Here
What do
we
you think-
go.
What do you think they were doing?
You know what?
You think they were putting on their gis to roll? No, they're just rolling in Speedos.
Thank you, sir.
You're encouraging this guy to start his what is it? No gi.
I'm going to try to reach down on white because there are
There you go.
offshoots of very popular sports,
Here's
just like
Dan.
the hand
So
slapper.
that's
Your
Dan.
mouth is,
Remember
like,
Dan
full when you're trying to
Sevron?
talk. I don't
Oh,
understand
so
a word
young.
you're saying.
Okay,
You
they're
don't watch my mouth.
Like, gosh,
Right.
I don't know. There's things
No
that come around
gi.
from I want no-gi
There you go.
competitions.
No gi. No.
Naked,
He wants to go.
Wrestling.
He wants to go to the
Okay.
original
I
wrestling.
see what you're doing.
Yeah.
no
Yeah.
no-gi.
He wants to go to
No,
the original
you
wrestling.
don't see what I'm doing because it's a vision. Okay, it's a vision
No
requires,
no-gi competitions. Got it.
and it would
So
require.
like oiled up.
Yeah.
Oh, we're gonna get to that in a
Like
minute. There-
Greco
we-
style.
Avocado oil
Yeah.
kind
Very
of.
nice.
Yeah, Turkish wrestling. Yeah,
Very
yeah, we're
slippery.
doing. Where did you show the Gracie?
yeah. Well, there's Dan Sevron in a black speedo.
Yeah, but that's.
I didn't see it. I didn't get to enjoy that.
Yeah, I
Just gotta
know.
Google,
You're,
Gracie's like 1960s.
Yeah, the old
1970s.
school.
Because that'll have like Hickson, like all the the young guys. Those guys were always on the beach, just like
We gotta warn our audience.
Well, they were on the beach, right? Now,
they used to train like that too.
They trained in the sand.
For sure.
And what was? Because we'll get into it. You grew up in Brazil for a while. Where were you?
No.
Did you
So my
live there?
family, so my parents immigrated here in the 80s, like mid 80s, and I was born here. So my mom was 6 months pregnant. So I grew up in North Jersey.
Okay.
So I grew up in a town called Harrison, New Jersey, which is like 1 square mile big, but it's surrounded by like some of the biggest metropolitan areas in New Jersey. So we were surrounded by like Newark and Jersey City, which are
Oh,
these
wow.
like 2 massive cities. But it was interesting. Like it was really insulated for most of my childhood, and so there was only 2 ways to get into the town, and it was 2 bridges, and one of the bridges was closed for most of my childhood, and so it was this like old like Irish Italian community for a while, and then my parents moved us to Florida, and when we came back from Florida when I was like 6 or 7 years old, they had to open the bridge, and the demographic of the town completely changed.
In what way?
It was like Brazilian, South American, Central American, like everybody moved in, and so the town like completely changed. Like there was like maybe like 6 white kids in my entire high school.
Wow.
Yeah.
Try Speedos or beach or something. What do you think to help them on
Are we
this?
still looking for this picture?
so how you speak Portuguese, right?
I do, yeah. So my parents, they like insisted that we all speak Portuguese,
That's
especially
awesome.
me because I grew up here. My brothers, at least, they came over when they were like 10 and 7 or something like that, like 9 or 6. But we also went to a all Portuguese language church, and so like my whole childhood, and I would go to Brazil basically every summer.
there you go.
And so
Look at these guys.
I'd spend most of
Getting
Yeah.
early in the
those aren't the
lapsing.
Speedos. Those are actually like nice little shorts.
Yeah.
Those are actually in style right now.
Yeah.
Those came back.
Yeah, those did come
I
back.
can look at Robson Gracie.
Short shorts.
Short shorts.
Short shorts, baby.
No nogi.
Hobson Gracie. No, that's fine. It does exist though. I have the
Yeah.
No, no.
Thinking about bringing that back.
Speedo.
My Jamie level is
The
like
no-gi.
The no nogi.
Have you seen the Turkish wrestling?
Turkish wrestling? No.
like right here.
You always like.
Here we go. Here's an old one.
There you go. That's Hickson.
Those are shorts.
When you can elbow to the back of the head. Nobody cared.
Yeah, back in the day, just clean out their sinuses with the sharp elbow to the back of the head.
Dude, those fights are brutal. Have you ever watched like those old school like this would be like early 90s, Vale Tudo fights?
Yeah.
Like Hickson just teeing off on Japanese guys.
Yeah, that.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it was back then.
Vale tudo.
I mean, there wasn't much they couldn't do back then, correct?
Ray Zula, this is actually, this dude is fucking gigantic. That guy he fought, he was this like giant black guy.
And he's just pounding on them,
Oh, dude.
saying Jiu-Jitsu better than you. Wow, that's a different time. Now we have all these. And I understand.
What did Professor Bruno call you yesterday? The Nutella.
Nutella. Yeah.
Nutella
Yeah,
jiu-jitsu?
it's like a thing that in Brazil it's either like Haiz, which means like root jiu-jitsu, or Nutella, which is Nutella.
Ow,
It's exactly the same.
don't hurt me.
But it's like hardcore old school jiu-jitsu versus like this like new school.
New school.
What
A
is
lot
it?
of it gets like
Yeah.
translated as new school, but really it's like the soft jiu-jitsu where it's like you can't like choke with the guys who don't want to train all the time, who like any little thing they get injured. That's usually what it references. But now it's being applied to like the new school of jiu-jitsu, right? The way that people teach, the whole thing.
So what are we
Yeah.
at?
What is? Yeah. Where are we at?
We're like halfway between.
Yeah.
I think Bruno does a really good job of like
Yeah.
keeping a balance of the school and making it very like accessible to people, but also having some hardcore training. Like it's a nice balance.
The
I think.
comp class.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then also fundamentals. Yeah, both.
But the old school is like old school. Like those guys it's every day's a fight. Like you go to that gym and everyone's going. It's fight to the death every time.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
They have these like very specific rules, and everyone has to follow it. They grade a certain way. It's like that's old school. You still find some gyms like that, I think.
More is it like a Cobra Kai type feel, or is it just like a I'm here to whoop everybody's ass?
No, I mean I feel like
But
there are
everybody's thinking that.
gyms that like put like that you know like violence at the forefront. I would say like you know where it's not necessarily self defense. It's like very like aggressive, but I don't think it's like Cobra Kai. I think it's just like you know it's just like a philosophy around training. Like training is hard and it's supposed to be hard, and we're here to like fight each other, and that's what it is.
Okay.
But then like that also is those gyms are typically very like territorial as well. It's very like tribal.
Okay.
Right? Those are the gyms that like you can't train with outside people, and like you can't.
Oh,
you
so
know, all the red flag gyms.
Saw the Gracie.
Not all
Baja.
places.
Gracie
I
Baja.
mean, Gracie Baja's
What about 10th Planet then? I mean, you kind of
10th Planet's awesome, man. I've never been to a 10th Planet gym where it wasn't like super welcoming. You know, even like in Greenville, they whooped my ass, but like everyone was very welcoming. They were very nice. They all gave me hugs after.
Oh, hey,
you know?
good job, good job.
Good job. Come back again.
Come back.
You wanna come
So
back
I
for the
told
night?
you 18 times. It's very nice to meet you.
Come back for the night class.
But they were very welcoming. Like, you know, as soon as I emailed the guy, he was like, "Yeah, come in whenever you want, man. Like, you don't even have to call me. Just show up."
Okay.
So it was nice. Like, I've never been to a 10th Planet gym that wasn't like a really cool.
That's what I've heard.
Are there like I experienced this a little bit when we travel, my wife and I, because she's owned a CrossFit gym. So when we travel, we try to go into gyms to work out while we're out of town and stuff. Sometimes there's like drop-in fees. Are there drop-in fees at some gyms?
You know,
or how does that work?
So it's funny. I went to Orlando for work probably like 4 years ago. Actually, no, probably more than that. 5 years ago. And I dropped into Bruno Malfacini's gym, and he charges $50 to drop in.
Oh,
There's
my
no
Lord.
exceptions. There's no like you come to an open mat. If you're an outsider, you pay $50 to come drop in his gym.
Oh, wow.
But that's like he's a big name, right? Like 12-time or 14-time world champion, whatever the hell he is. Most gyms you don't drop in, but like I feel like the big name gyms they charge.
Okay.
That was a fun experience too because they put me. I was a blue belt at the time, so it would have been more than 5 years ago, and I was like doing techniques and like drills with a purple belt, and when the first time to roll, I like treated my roll with him like it was the fucking world champions. Like,
Oh, no.
like I still remember. Like I passed his guard, I like mounted him. I went for a cross choke. I got him, and when the round ended, I looked up and the black belt was standing over me.
Oh, no.
And he went like this. Psst, come here. And he pulled in one of his brown belts, dude. And every roll after that, he wouldn't let me pick the person. He would be like, "Hey, psst, come here. Oh, this guy." It was like, bro, I threw up. I literally left and I threw up in a trash can outside because they put me through the fucking ringer.
Oh,
and that was like a really good learning experience.
Yeah.
Like, don't go to an outside gym and act like it's the world championships in your first roll because you will get fucking destroyed.
Oh, yeah.
I get killed at open mats a lot and at other gyms apparently. It's like a recurring theme in my jiu-jitsu journey.
Comes in, guns blazing.
Yeah.
Come in like a Gordon Ryan and just get fucking smacked.
Get you mad. I heard Donna heard that it's a drop-in fee like 40 or 50 too, but there's a waiting list too.
But I could see that though. That dude, I mean, because there's homers, right? And there's going to be guys that are just trying to be around it.
Yeah.
Not just to say I train there, not necessarily for it. But they're also competing with the guys that are like, no, man, I want to train. So I wouldn't be surprised if he was $40-$50.
Yeah, just to weed out the
Just
wannabes.
yeah.
Those guys that were visiting one time that came to Coffee Crew, they did like a pilgrimage to Austin where they came to like they went to 10th Planet or not 10th Planet. Actually, no, they went to 10th Planet. They went to New Wave, and they said that they had to like show up. They showed up like 3 hours before the class because it was a wait list. And so they just waited out there, and then there was a drop-in fee. They had to pay like some kind of.
It's like a concert.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, no, it's like a big deal. But it's crazy that people are doing pilgrimages to Austin now to like go to fucking B Team and New Wave and 10th Planet. Like,
Yeah. You know what's frustrating?
It's a crazy scene now.
Is that I think IBJJF. I love IBJJF, but I think they throw shade at Austin because they're like, "Nah, man, you guys only get like 1 day." But like you'll go to like Waco and it'll be like 2 days. You're like, why Waco 2 days? Like Austin's supposed to be like the new Mecca, and they don't. It's like
That's a good point.
We're not going to recognize it.
Wasn't that one in the summer 2 days though, or was that 1
Nope,
day?
1 day.
Wow, why is that? That's so weird.
Right? Like with the amount of like, I bet if they did like a legit 2 day, it would sell out and. Like,
I wonder if it's like a venue expense thing because IBJJF is cheap as fuck. They don't want to spend money.
Oh, really?
No, they don't.
They hate spending money.
Well, smart.
Yeah.
They got a good.
wonder.
Yeah.
I wonder if like venues in Austin are like really expensive.
probably.
Oh, for sure.
to-
Yeah.
to
No.
rent
Yeah.
out.
Good point. There's an idea.
Yeah.
We just get a venue that they can hold like 3-day
Yeah.
event. Be like, come on. let's
HEB
go.
Center.
HEB.
I bet that's expensive.
Oh,
Yeah.
that'd be a fucking amazing venue.
That'd be an
Yeah.
amazing
Imagine.
venue, though.
You could do the World Championships there.
You could do
like,
the world
no
or a
problem.
pans.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah.
wear pans like something big.
Mm-hmm.
No problem. You fill that stadium too.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
And how it's shaped, everything's
Yes.
so close, like on top.
It's a great idea, Joe. We should pitch that.
Hmm?
We should pitch that to the
I just
IBJJF.
draw.
Write it down.
I don't
Yeah.
have any ideas. Ooh, look at I drew a dolphin.
Yeah, he's got stick
Okay,
figures
this
with belts walking over
He
the
doesn't
HEB
actually take
Center.
notes, he just draws pictures.
Yeah.
That would.
That's cool.
Stick figure.
Yeah.
Well, that was one of the things that they did in the Cedar Park, purposeful for the minor league basketball for the Spurs and the Texas Stars minor league team and the concerts. But and they have Comic Cons and other things like that. And I think they do some rodeos and
They've
Cirque du
done
Soleil.
Monster trucks. I went there for a monster jam.
Is that big enough for a monster truck?
Heck yeah, it is.
Oh my God, I did
Yeah.
not know that.
They had a dude in a flaming suit fall from the ceiling into a crash pad. It was so awesome.
That is so
Yeah.
awesome. That
Warning.
is a good event.
You spend good money on good earplugs or your ear protection. It is so loud.
That venue's so
bet.
nice though
So
because,
loud.
like you said,
Yeah.
everything you're like the seats are all
Yeah,
good.
the drivers
So I
are
can
good
imagine-
because there's not like it's a good size, but it's not a lot of floor space for like a monster truck, and especially two going.
Right.
But they make it look so big, right?
I'm
Like,
actually
they're
dying
so
to go
good
to a
at it.
monster truck show because my son loves monster trucks.
Oh yeah, definitely get your ear protection in if it's at that place. Actually, any of them. Hate being a sissy, but you only have one set of ears. It's not like it comes back, but man,
No, for sure, man.
'cause
You don't want to blow your hair.
there is no like holdback on the volume those machines make.
I've never
Like,
done it indoors, so I
Yeah.
didn't even think
Yeah.
about that. I've seen
Yeah.
them outside.
I
but
mean, that's
wow.
an engine
Well, they're
straight.
loud.
Like,
They're loud
There's an
outdoors.
engine straight to like just pipes like right there. There's no like muffle exhaust. It's straight like blowing.
feel it.
Dude, yeah, and they're like, "Wah!"
It's so guttural. I mean, how can you not like? Could you imagine taking your son
You
and
feel
your
it
daughter?
in
Like,
that
"Whoa!"
in that
Yeah,
small
actually,
area. You
that's
feel
actually
it.
a good tip though, 'cause now I'm gonna bring my son's headphones. He has
Yes,
those, like, ear protectors.
yes.
It's like, all right, that's a great tip.
And the first thing he's gonna do, he can feel the vibrating like when they like they go beep beep, and then they hit the gas, and it's just the whole place just lights up. So
Is it
fun.
like a concert where you can feel your clothes vibrate?
Yes,
Oh my
yes.
god,
It's a good
I would have
experience.
never known that.
Oh, the concert. I think that's like half that feeling.
Oh,
I mean,
really?
This is like.
Because
Have you ever
Monster
been to
truck
the
is
drag?
loud.
And then they're doing the pyrotechnics too, so you're getting like the hot blast, off the.
Could have a
yeah.
seizure.
And whenever the air cannons go off, it's they do a really good show. But yes, air protection.
That's something to look for then.
Have
Awesome.
you ever been to drag races?
Like the cars or to
The cars.
people
No.
that dress up in drag?
The,
Okay.
the NHRA, the professional.
They're both
fun fact about
Unofficially
yeah.
only. Never been to a drag race.
Fun
Never
fact
been to-
about some monster truck stuff. There is one called the Big Kahuna. Like one of the trucks is called Big Kahuna.
That's cool.
The
I
guy.
actually know a random amount of monster
Okay.
trucks. 'cause
Cool.
My kid watches this like virtual garage thing.
Yeah.
Where it's like virtual monster trucks. They jump. Have you seen that? It's
Yes,
called
I've
Griff's
seen that,
Garage.
yes.
It's just like a video game of monster trucks where it's just that's all he'll up
Yeah,
it
he
on.
jumps.
He'll watch it for an hour and a half.
Yeah.
And every time they jump, he goes, yeah! It's like, okay. I don't even know what's happening.
Well, that one Big Kahuna, the driver of that, his brother, I worked with him when I used to do offshore stuff. And they're from Paris, Texas. And I was like, how did he I've always wanted to know, how did he become? He goes, man, he literally was like the low man on the totem pole. He worked kind of in pit crew, helped out where he could, but he was just always there. And then like the main driver was like, F this, I'm out. And they're like, hey, do you want to drive? And he's like, yeah, he did good. And they're like, there you go. And then so he's the driver for like Big Kahuna.
I never thought about that. Who becomes a monster truck driver? Like,
I know, right?
What kind of career
How?
path
Yeah.
is that?
Yeah.
Like, how do you start? Do
That's
people-
an interesting
you think
lifestyle.
There's like kids that are,
Yes.
when they grow up, they want to be monster truck drivers.
I bet now there is because you know with any sport because there's so much access to it and there's such a there's a following of somebody in that sport.
Dude, and YouTube, you get
Yeah.
millions of
Yes.
YouTube views. Like some
Oh,
of those
God, yeah.
videos that I click on, like millions and millions of views.
Just to hit the gas pedal
Yeah.
and hit a dirt jump and then
Well, it's not just. Hold on, because you gotta.
no, those dudes are
control.
pilots.
Yeah, yeah.
They are pilots
Because-
of
When
big
they, like,
machine.
go upside down and they
Yeah.
like get themselves back up.
Yes,
They're on their sides.
They're doing the
and, like,
freestyle stuff and they hit it and they can actually time the backflip.
Yup, that backflip. That's crazy.
Yeah.
I think you guys are giving him too much credit. I think to be one of those drivers, you have to start dipping at 6. and you constantly have a cow patty stuck between the tread and your boot.
Clearly.
Yeah. Come on, man.
Well, that's
Hear
a,
that, kids? That's how you
prerequisite.
become a monster truck driver. Start now at 6.
and missing it too.
This is an
With
educator
lippers
here.
and cowboy boots.
This is an educator and a counselor.
Yeah.
Very
Career
positive,
counselor.
ladies and gentlemen. He's very positive.
I need to start dipping. 6, sir.
Very optimistic about the youth based on your
With 28 years in the
education.
classroom.
I know.
Hey, speaking of teaching, how was your day? Like, what's good for you? What's going on?
Actually, pretty good. I competed recently at the Austin Open. I've been a little bit sick with allergies and injuries. Came back and decided to make my brown belt debut.
That's good for you.
And there was no one in my age group because I guess people die before they get to my age usually.
You're old, yeah.
So I decided to do IBJJF Open brown belt.
Master
And
9.
the guy was
congratulations
the
to you
guy
for-
was a monster.
Master 9.
I mean, ultra heavyweight.
He was talking to me after he got done trying to turn me into like guacamole or whatever he's doing because he got on top and
Was it just like smishy, smish?
No, you
Smish,
did very
smish.
well.
I
You
did do
very well.
considering
Like you
But
didn't
him,
you didn't get
Was
smushed.
that his
like
whole
you,
technique?
he had a head and arm that was one of the worst ones I've
Yeah.
ever felt, and I actually
You framed
lasted.
out. You framed out really
Yeah,
well.
it
so
was-
You should be proud.
Competes a lot, a nice guy, but then we were talking. He goes, "Yeah, being ultra heavy is kind of hard, you know. I just like sometimes I said like, I wish they would just give me someone 250 pounds," and I'm just walking over to the podium like,
Well, not today.
Yeah. Sorry, pal. You get 190.
yeah. So got the fire again. Signed up for Dallas
Okay.
day after. Professor wants me to focus on gi, which is
Real jiu-jitsu. Yeah.
well. I'm going back to a quote that our guest said: "Stay with the style of jiu-jitsu you fell in love with." That's not the style I fell in love with, but it's the style I stick with, and then see how we do. So I'm going to go to Dallas and
Oh, yeah.
do gi. Hopefully, there's someone my age out there. If there's anyone out there,
I think you'll probably have more opponents
In Dallas,
in
for
your
sure.
weight class
I hope so.
than you will NOGI.
But
Yeah.
Master 9 at 180, right?
One
Yeah.
Master 9 at like 122.
Master 9, what is that, like 77 years
Yeah.
old?
No, 710. 710.
Yes, that's
That's
good.
I think
You'll
he's got
do
like
fine.
a
You're gonna be okay.
1772
Yeah.
birthday.
No, I'm
out
a,
there.
wait. I mean, that was a good one because if I could just walk in and not get torn in half first time, and I'm not a gi guy. Just as you're not a no-gi guy, I'm not a gi guy. I still do gi as no-gi. I'm not grabbing lapels. I'm not
Wait.
I
That actually makes
I got-
a lot of sense.
I got
I will
confused.
say
I
that-
grab
That's why you
lapels.
stink so
Yeah,
much.
I will say this, Joe. In all honesty, since I've known you, you were a purple belt until you got your brown belt, and I've seen just about every tournament you've gone to here at Soul Fighters as a purple belt, and you rolled way better at your brown belt than you did on any of the purple belts.
Thank you. That means a lot. That's all. Thank you. I
big,
think
man.
I
It's a big
I
compliment.
wasn't really. I'm like, okay, I had jiu-jitsu. I felt like I had jiu-jitsu. And I felt calm.
You look patient.
Yeah.
You look real good.
The ref was upset because I was pushing him and then I pushed him out and
Yeah,
the
that
ref
was
turned to me and
silly.
he's like, "Can you keep it in the center of the mat?" And I just went, he literally told me that. And I went,
That's old Joe right there. man.
I went, and the guy even looked at me and then the guy pulled me in the guard and then I was like, "Dude, you're 6,200,000 something. Why are you pulling me guard?" And then I was in his guard. And
That's
I'm like,
probably why he's pulling guard, though.
Yeah.
Because there's so much,
Yeah.
the size differential. He's like, whatever.
and then I went to kind of hold him, and he grabbed my knee, and he just went wee, and rolled me like I was a tortilla.
Did he make eye contact with you? It's okay.
Right when he grabbed the knee, and I felt my center of gravity change. You know, you
Yeah.
feel it. I was like, oh no! In my mind, I'm just like, no.
Nothing you can do but just
You're
watch.
going to get rolled.
And then my wife, I love her. She thought I died again. So she's seen me twice now compete, and both times she thought I died because the guy was on me, and he was so big. Because he's like 6'4", 6'5", or something like that.
Yeah, I think that's the guy that Marcio competed against.
Yeah, it
in-
was.
in the summer. Yeah.
Yeah.
He has that.
Yeah.
Yeah. She said she could only see the top of my bald head.
Yeah.
I'll tell you though. So I've known Joe since he was a blue belt. We were blue belts together.
Oh, shit.
When
cool.
when I first moved to Austin, and I started training at
Oh, I love those
Joe
guys.
used to be a ruffian. Joe used to like come in the gym and
I
just
did not-
like as soon as the round started, he would like go real soft, and then it was like boom, boom, boom. It was like you're
Yeah.
catching elbows. He's wrist locking people. Joe was rough. He was a rough roll.
Yeah, I'm trying.
He's
trying to
super aggressive.
He's trying to get me back there, and lost a little something. But he'll say, "Oh, that's the old Joe." But we'll try to get.
So how do we get there? What do we need?
I just
Healthy.
I think maybe
TRT.
Yeah, TRT.
Steroids.
Yeah.
I gotta drink some raw milk or
Breast
There you
milk.
go.
I heard breast milk's the way to
called
go.
You offering?
Breast assist.
No, but if you go to bodybuilding.com,
This is the podcast.
that forum. Hey, I'm not plugging this thing.
You better
but
be careful.
Oh, you'll be plugging something if you're offering me breast milk.
I challenge you.
Latch on right
I challenge you to in the search breast milk for sale. There is a market for.
Oh, sure.
Yeah, bodybuilders.
That's colostrum is like a big thing.
Wait, is this human produced milk?
Yeah, and
milk,
by women, okay?
yeah, and
Women.
depending how healthy.
Although you never know these days.
And depending on how healthy and clean the source is, and there's verification. There's all this kind of stuff.
Is there like a bio and a
Healthy
picture?
and clean the source.
You can pay like it, the more
What
that-
they eat.
the,
It's
the
like a
more per
pedigree.
ounce. Yeah, the more per ounce. Yeah,
Can
no way.
I video conference with the person
For some, yeah.
and see what as I drink?
That I don't know. That's too many details. But no, dare you.
Is it like a Capri
Bodybuilding.
Sun where I just stick a straw in and I can walk
Yes,
around?
because they're still in the some of them are still in the bags. So I'm sure you could.
Can
plug
I
the
get it
straw.
directly from the source like he does for his raw milk?
I don't know. That's probably a different service.
Definitely can't get that at the farmer's market.
No,
That's for sure.
yeah, different farmers market.
That would be a really popular booth, though.
The dark web farmers market.
And yeah,
That's a great idea.
and then yeah,
I think they called that the Silk Road, and I think that guy's in jail.
What?
yeah.
Yeah, that guy's in jail for sure.
Oh yeah.
Big time.
Now he's employed though by our government to.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, to
Yes.
get everybody else out.
Yeah,
there.
that's right.
He
That's
turned,
the way-
it, he
that's the
turned
way you
into
do it, man.
yeah,
You
get
find
the
the
people
smartest
that know how to
ones
do
and
it.
turn them. But he's
Very cool.
protected.
Okay, so what's the
He's still
calorie,
thinking- he's still
protein?
thinking
What?
about
Well,
that.
if there's a market, then there's
I
a
wonder if
health
you get a-
benefit, or is it just
Yeah,
because
it's, so you can actually buy powdered colostrum now, which is like the
Active
it's
ingredient.
like the fat. I think it's like the MCT, like like MCT
Yeah.
oil, like the fat. You can buy that in a powder form now, but it's most of the stuff that you could buy is like bovine colostrum, so it comes from cows. So like it would make sense that people would want to drink breast milk because like it's super high fat.
Yeah, and you're gonna have. So we're not in some nerd way. We're not meant to consume like other animals' milk. We can because over time, but we still are primal, have better health benefits, and we can accept those health benefits better from our own human breast milk because that's what we grew up on. So.
do they package it? Like, could I get an adult diaper and an adult pacifier with the milk?
Maybe.
I am so curious for you. I'll set you up an account this
Okay,
week.
cool.
Does it come with a picture of the breast? That would be-
of just the forum bodybuilding.com, and then I'll hyperlink you so you can get your own customized search for.
What if I
your
say?
I would
breast
never
milk.
thought to look at bodybuilding.com
And
as a source of
yeah,
breast milk.
Surprised? No, nor did I until I heard and I didn't believe it. And I
That's
was
so
like,
interesting.
yeah.
There's like, because I know there's like whole websites where like mothers who are nursing can like sell their breast
Now,
milk. If they have an
now I'm
oversupply.
sure it's like that. But in the like before
But
those,
bodybuilding.com
yeah.
would not be in. That wouldn't even be in my like top 100
No way.
of things to think about.
All the growth hormones you would ever have questions about.
That's true.
Damn, let's
That's
get
how
on
it was
there.
explained to me. I was like, oh well. okay,
Hey,
good.
next podcast is it's going
Let's
to
bring it up.
revolve around
All about breast milk.
Let's
breast
bring
milk
in a sample.
and
Bodybuilding.
yeah, bodybuilding.
Let's bring in some
Have you guys
samples.
seen bath salts?
Yes.
They do it on Rogan all the time. Where they, or not bath salts. I'm sorry, smelling salts.
Oh,
Oh shit,
Dude,
that's funny.
They do it on Rogan, but it's like a bodybuilding thing. Guys will like
Yep.
use smelling salts right before they try to like
Power
do
lift and stuff, yep.
like big lifts.
some of us used it at Worlds
You did?
before.
You did smelling salts before Worlds?
I did a little bit of it. I think I can't remember, but I know some of the guys.
It was a
did.
white rock. That's all he knows.
And then 3 days
Could've been
later,
anything.
3 days later, I was in the back of a restaurant in an alley with my pants down to my ankles.
He said it was ice. I thought it was gonna melt.
Very dehydrated.
I've actually been thinking about doing smelling salts in the morning because like I have a really hard time like waking up in the morning, and I've just been thinking like, what if I just keep like a bottle right near my like nightstand, and that's the first thing I do when I wake up. Because like imagine waking up like that, just like whoa.
You should do
Dude,
smelling salts.
it's a kick in the face. Some of those,
Dude.
It goes right to
and-
your brain.
and if you want the like,
I've never done it before, but
Yeah.
it looks intense.
Oh,
No.
you can get them on Amazon.
Yeah.
you can get them on Amazon, or like you like just Google on Amazon powerlifting smelling salts because they come like in the heavy horseradish variety of or like it like you shake the bottle up
it's
and then it's like bow, and I mean it's like lightning goes from your nose, your eyes, and your head. You're like someone just bam,
Did your like
you.
heart start beating like super
I feel
fast
like
immediately?
it initially it's in the like it's like it's a weird nerve facial punch. And then it spikes your adrenaline real quick.
Okay.
And then
I feel like it goes right into my brain.
Yeah.
It's like, oh my God.
You kind of feel it.
Yeah,
like
in
the
your
electric.
fingertips.
Yeah, your fingertips.
I'm
It's pretty cool.
reconsidering
And it's just 2 seconds, 3 seconds. It's just a bam.
But then it triggers a little bit of that adrenaline kick, and then boom, gone.
I usually do it before I mow my yard. Because
Wow.
it's just, I just got to
like
get
a
going.
smelling salts like professional.
Yeah. He's
get
embalming
motivated before he goes to
himself.
work.
right
It's
now.
like, God dang it.
The middle of the day.
Gotta
when the kid
hedge
is
these
like,
bushes. It's going to take all that. No! Go out there and
before you
face
teach
paint.
a lesson in school. You're just,
He started like
It's
in
good.
Egypt.
George Washington on this date.
Yeah.
Kids
Have
are
you-
like, I'm so scared.
Have you ever given your kids any smelling salts?
My students or my daughters?
Oh no!
I don't think it's a good answer.
Yeah.
No,
As your friend.
Yeah.
The answer should be
I don't understand
no.
the question.
For all.
No.
Oh.
No, Joe.
I don't understand the question.
No.
I don't understand the question.
Odd question.
That'd be a weird question. I don't know. I don't
No, seriously,
know
you're
how
Strange thing
to,
to ask me.
Seriously,
would-
what about your students then?
do you ever give your clients smelling salts?
Oh
before
yeah,
they sign?
actually I
I'm
have.
sure if they asked. he'd be
Actually, I
pretty
have.
good.
I have.
Yeah.
He looks like the kind of guy that would offer it to
Yeah.
them.
Gotta make the
Unprompted.
sale,
Say,
man.
"Hey, have a
You
little bit of this.
gotta make the sale.
Oh, check this
Before
out.
we
You gotta try
underwrite
this.
this bitch. Here you go.
Try this. Oh shit, that's cool.
Yeah.
Let me sign everything.
Breaks the pen. Damn, it's too
So how's the
powerful.
carnivore diet treated you? Because I've never done that one.
It's tough. It's hard because like I eat a ton of carbs. I love carbs. Like I love, and especially like sweet things. Like I love like cookies and shit like that. So,
carnivore with berry or just straight up carnivore?
just straight up carnivore.
Cool.
So I've been doing like everything animal based except for raw milk. But like, and it's tough to like, because I have 2 kids, and so I make a lot of their meals. And so, like, I have to think about making something for myself and also making something for them. And so, like, if I make pasta, I'll, like, literally make, like, bolognese for them, and then I'll just have a bunch of ground beef on the side for myself. And I just eat that.
Just from saying bolognese, my mouth started watering because I love pasta. Yeah.
I mean, and I make pasta for them, like, once a week. And, like, I'll make rice and beans for them once a week. And, like, not being able to eat rice and beans is, man, for a Brazilian, it's, like, slap in the face.
So what meats
smell
are you go to so that you don't go crazy? Like what's your go to?
So I've kind of got a rhythm now where I'm making like 10, 15 hamburger patties at once on Sunday. And like I'll grill off, like I'll half grill them and then I'll just finish them real fast when I want to eat them. But those will keep for like a couple days. And like you can eat a pound of ground beef. I mean, that's it's like almost 1,000 calories.
Oh, that's a good idea.
Yep.
Yeah. And so I'll literally like make the burger patties. I'll put some cheese on them and then I'll just recook them in the air fryer right before I eat them.
No vegetables or anything?
No.
Oh, wow.
Eat a lot
So
of
is the
bacon.
cheese your own-
Brody gave me some bomb
Bacon.
elk sausage,
Oh, yeah.
which was so good.
Dude, those
I've
Oh.
never felt like such a man, dude. I
Yeah.
ate like 3 elk sausage and 6
Yeah.
eggs. I was just like, whoa, I feel so manly.
Super
I feel like Paul Bunyan right now. This is amazing.
I'm gonna go lift.
Yeah, no, seriously.
I'm going to chop down some trees.
It was like adrenaline just like coursing through my veins. I was like, "Ugh."
Yeah, your beard just
Wore off immediately,
Yeah.
but like it happened.
your beard kicked out a 1/16 of an inch.
A little bit, yeah. I mean, I had to like trim it down.
Yeah, like wife opens the door and it's like a glowing chest and it's an axe.
Voice goes down one more octave.
How'd you turn into the brawny man?
I just ate meat. I ate elk.
Elk sausage.
So I mean, I've done like keto before. I did keto when I first moved to Austin, and I lost 40 pounds. So I did that for like 90 days. But keto is like so hard because
I did keto twice.
You have
It
to
is
just
hard.
consume so much fat.
Yeah.
You know, like you have
Right.
to add fat to everything, and it's so hard to like keep the ratios because you have to keep your macros at 70% fat. It's so hard to keep it. At least I found it really hard to keep it. So I did it for 90 days, and I was intermittent fasting. I lost, you know, I went from when I moved here from California, I was 260, and by the time I joined Sinister, I was like 220.
Yeah,
Probably got a little under. I got down to like 210 when I was
I
at Sinister.
remember when you came in, I thought you were sandbagging blue. I'm like, who's this guy coming in my turf? Okay. And then he's like Brazilian. I'm like,
I'd been a blue belt for 10 years.
I'm going to fuck this guy.
10
up.
years?
Yeah, I was a blue belt for 10 years.
Oh,
Oh, wow.
I've actually been training for almost 20 years. So like I've probably been training as long as Bruno, or as long as Marcio. Yeah, like it's just I never committed to it. Like I got exposed to jiu-jitsu really, really early on because my cousin trained. So I had a cousin who's a purple belt under Master Mansour. And so he moved from Brazil to the U.S. in 95, like 95, 96, and he showed me like a UFC tape. And he wouldn't ever stop talking about the Gracies, like Gracie Jiu-Jitsu this, Gracie Jiu-Jitsu that. And then like a year or two later, Kraus and Master Mansour actually moved to Newark because they were opening a gym. And so Master Mansour was like a deacon at my church, and Kraus, because Kraus was friends with my cousin, I was exposed to them. But my dad was very adamant that he didn't want us training jiu-jitsu because he associated jiu-jitsu with violence. You know, because he grew up in Brazil in the 60s and 70s where like the Gracies were challenging everybody, and it was like in the newspaper, and they were like having brawls on the beach. And so I didn't actually start training until I was 20. And that was my a gym opened in my town in Harrison, which is this like square mile big town, which so it was like completely unheard of. But the guy that opened it was Rob Simoes' first black belt. His name is Joseph Manuel. He runs a choke lab actually, like it's the Instagram account. But he was like the first place I trained, and that was the first place I trained like consistently. But I got my blue belt a couple years later, and was a blue belt for like 10 years before I moved to Austin. But never trained consistently. I like got my blue belt, and I did the whole like disappeared off the face of the earth. I would like drop in at gyms here. You know, I lived in like a bunch of different places. I traveled a lot in my early 20s, so I was kind of like never really in one place for more than like 3 or 4 months. But actually, I got to visit like a bunch of cool gyms. Like I went to Marcelo Garcia's gym in New York because his gym was right behind my office when I worked in Manhattan. You know, I visited all the gyms in New York, and I just got to train at all these places. But by the time I got to Austin, that was the first time I actually like had the discipline to actually commit to training again.
It was neat just being his friend, being his gym brother. He comes as blue. I'm like, okay, Brazilian blue belt. But then just him being committed, just seeing him accelerate through that, the consistency that we've heard, and then him competing. And we did a couple of tournaments together, but he has at this one tournament. We were talking about this other night, the Evolve tournament, which I would say it's a smaller scale than NOGI.
It is, yeah, for sure.
And it's kind of crazy because we were competing, and I think that might have been the one where they put me down 2 age brackets.
They did.
And almost
but you took gold, man. I'm telling you.
2 weight classes up.
When you don't have anybody in your bracket, you should go down in age, not weight.
So I had to go.
Go down to like Masters 3 if you have to, because at least you'll have guys that are your weight class.
Yeah.
They'll be younger, but I feel like you can control the pace a little bit more.
That's true.
Yeah. I think you'll have more success than freaking
Rebecca's had to do that.
Like this guy knows me so better than anyone, so he knows like how I click. But I think I was like 46. I was at 165, and they put me at 30 to 34.
Super lean, Joe. Remember that?
30 to 34, 185. So I was 40 over 45, 165, and they said, well, if you want to compete, you could do 30 to 34, 185s. And I went there. I'm like, okay, I'll do this. And this one young guy, he just took me first match, and he checked me, and I was just like, oh God, this is real. And this guy, he had like 6 or 7 matches, like back to back to back to back to back to back, and he had like no break in between. But tell that story real quickly, because that's I
mean, it's like a small scale tournament. It's
an awesome story.
I was competing. I decided to do NOGI and GI, and they didn't have like a separation between the two. It was like one after the other. And so,
it was literally like
it wasn't like IPJF. It was straight up.
Hear your name.
Here's your NOGI. Here's your GI. Like you just finished NOGI. GI's starting right now.
Literally.
So I had so I won my first match, and then I lost my second match because I was exhausted. My first match, like, all the adrenaline, like, you know, and I tell people this all the time. You could be so completely prepared. The minute someone touches you when you're in competition, all the adrenaline just like spikes in your body, and it's like pure fight or flight. And so I actually beat the guy like 14-0 or something like that, but I literally couldn't even lift my arms. And so I lost the second match, but then I had to compete, or I had to face the same guy that I did in the first match again. And so I beat him again, and then they made me, the guy that beat me, they made me compete with him in the gold medal match. And so this was like 5 minutes break in between. And so I beat him in the gold medal match, and it was actually funny. I still remember it. I thought like, oh, awesome, I'm going to get a gold medal when is GI starting. And I hear Alex Simoes.
Yeah, I remember his name is being announced.
What just happened?
After those 4 matches.
And so we get, like, I run, they call the other guy, and the ref is like, all the other, like, we were just waiting for you. Your bracket took way longer than we thought, and so we were just waiting for you guys to start. And so like they literally restarted us in
Yes.
gi, and so I had to do 2 gi matches back to back. So I won both gi matches back to back, and then won the gold.
Double
But
G,
it was like
baby.
I've never like I was a swimmer for most of in high school. Like in swimming, you can do 2 back-to-back events, but like they'll give you a break.
Yeah.
Right, like it's very rare. Like you usually have
they're not gonna
stack-
stack. They're not gonna stack
in
you.
a fucking tournament, they don't give a shit, man.
No.
And that one especially, they were just
Time.
like, it's next one. Go
Yeah,
ahead,
we're on a clock.
next one. It was brutal, man. And then one of the matches I remember, like, they called us out, and so me and this guy, we were there, like, bouncing. We shook hands. They started, and then someone from the table said, wait. Something happened with, like, the scoreboard, so we had to go back to the sidelines and wait for, like, 15 minutes.
And then start
to get the
again.
scoreboard. So I went completely cold.
Yeah.
It was brutal, man. That was actually one of the more brutal tournaments I've ever competed in because it was just like back to back to back.
So
IBJJF runs like really smoothly in comparison.
Yeah.
So I had 3-ish matches, and I got gold. The last one I was behind in points. I remember our professor at Sinister and Alex just yelling, and I pulled it off. And then so as soon as I was done, I hear my name. And then they're like, "Hey," and I said, "I just finished, like, dude, and like we need you down here." So I had to run upstairs and change into my gi.
Dude, I did the same thing. I was like, I didn't have my gi with. I had to like run upstairs. I was
run
like,
upstairs the bathroom.
because you have to take your rash guard off. I was like,
after they call your name, after you're done and you hear your name, Joe Adrian, come to Matt, and you're like, "What the heck?" And I went over and I said, "I've been doing gi, NOGI," and they're like, "Hey, we're waiting for your gi." I'm like, what am I gonna do? Go up and change your matches now. So you're trying to do this as you're in the bathroom. You run all the way down. They had to recheck my gi. There's something wrong with that. I'm like, I got checked, and it was a mess. And then the guy, and I won't say his name, but we'll talk later because I think you know who he is. He used to come in, and we used to go at it. But he's respectful. He's a black belt now. I see him at the competitions, and he still remembers. He did not have gi matches, but he watched each of my no-gi matches. Mm-hmm. He sat there with headphones and would just watch each of my matches. And I go up there, I rush, and I know this guy because he was coming to our gym to train with us.
Just say his name.
Creamer.
Oh, Creamer's great, man.
You know, he's awesome.
Yeah,
he talks about
Creamer was a killer.
He's a killer.
When he got his black belt, I was like, oh, that's a guy who deserves.
He's a
black
killer.
belt right
I
there.
love this guy. So we slap and bump. I'm exhausted. I'm like, oh, I know this guy. We've had some good things, and he.
Oh yeah, he's gonna kill you.
He's
gonna come in.
It's like I said something about his mom, his kids, and it took his lunch money, and it was over in 2 seconds.
Nicest guy in the world, but the minute like you're starting around with him, he's gonna destroy you.
It was
he's
like
killing you.
I did all 3 things, and it taught me something. But he was just mentally ready. He's like, and I was like, you have to be ready. But that was a.
I used to love rolling him, and he was so technical.
He was
like, and he just had
solid.
like he had this like style that was he had that style that like there's no cruft in it. It was just like
a knife.
No wasted movement. Everything he did was just like boom.
If he swept
boom,
you, if he got up, boom. It was battle.
It was perfect and like on timing. It was like he was actually a really great guy.
He's an awesome guy because he was more like that old school mentality. It's just when he came over to the gym, I knew it was going to be a battle. It was just like, I
remember the first time I rolled him, I pulled guard, and he passed my guard so fast that I was like, oh, okay, this is the kind of battle it's going to be then. And then like from that day, it was like every time I rolled with him, I would have to mind my P's and Q's.
Yeah.
Just like I would come in like, all right,
he's
going to strangle me if I don't like.
I normally don't
pay attention to what's happening. Like this is not like a goofy roll.
I got a jiu-jitsu question.
Okay.
Do you guys prefer Shark Tank style? And for those of you out there who are listening who doesn't understand what Shark Tank, it's basically you sit in the middle of the mat, you've got a section, and we set a time period, say like 10 minutes, and you, of course, just roll through until you submit or get submitted. Or do you prefer rolling back-to-back, like at the end of, like as we normally do at the end of the evening, where it's 5-minute rolls, 6-minute rolls, but you just stay in the middle the whole time?
I like the first one where
Shark Tank.
There's Shark Tank, because it goes for 7 minutes and then you have a brand new person rested, putting the pressure on. So first 2-3 minutes, it's cool. The last 4, 5, 6, 7 minutes, it's just painful, and your instincts kind of kick in at that point. You're not, because your grips are gone. Your lactic acid is already pumping through your muscles, so you rely on technique a lot more. Yeah. From my perspective,
I don't really have a preference. Like I think there's a time and a place for a lot of like. you have to get the rolls in.
Yeah.
You know, just the 5-minute rolls where like you're doing a bunch of stuff, but like the great thing about Shark Tank is that it's usually like positional, and so like you're starting
That's
in
what
a
I
very
was gonna
specific
say.
position,
Yeah.
and so like
Yes.
if you're working on that, you know, if like I have a choice in Shark Tank, I always choose the thing that I'm trying to work on.
Yep.
Yeah, me too.
That was actually like
Same.
when I went from blue belt to purple belt. That was the thing that I think was the biggest driver in my progression was I started to like really think about like, all right, this is the thing I'm going to work on this week. And it wasn't like super intentional where I wouldn't be like, I'm just going to like do arm bars today. It was more like, you know, my guard kind of sucks. Like I'm going to try to pull up and guard a lot. And so like once you start doing that, you start to see like bigger gains because you're trying to solve the same problem over and over again. So I think like Shark Tank is great for that. But like, is there anything better than just a bunch of rolls? Like, you know,
I mean, in the
roll
end,
with
it's
different
reps.
guys.
Yeah, it's reps.
Just roll.
Yeah,
I like
repetitions.
I like them both equally, but if I have to lean to one, I like the Shark Tank of it because you don't have an opportunity to choose your opponent. It is whatever comes down that barrel.
Do you think you have an opportunity to choose your opponent when you're just rolling?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Well,
No, I do.
What I do for that,
I like even like right now because I'm coming off this injury. Like I will select like, all right, yeah, I know I'm going to roll with that. I'm going to try to roll with that person. I know like TD is going to be moving very hard today. I'm going to steer clear of that one.
Nope.
Right? Like or you know, it just
even if I'm
That's
healthy.
every day.
Yeah. I like
As soon as I see him, I'm like, nope.
No.
I like rolling with healthy. I like rolling with him, man. It's a barrage, and it just makes you better because I notice like in the comp style, like if someone throws, you know, you get in position like side control or whatever, you're like, okay, at least initially you're like, it's not T or
That's
Richard
exactly
doing
what I
it,
told him.
right? And then from there you're like, okay, cool.
It's not
It's
T.
not them. Boom, boom,
Yeah.
boom, 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 boom. And then then I feel like you can go to
Exactly.
work because it gives you like a good quick reference of what, because they're consistently on medium to high intensity because I feel that they train like they're going to give you good effort. They're very adaptive too, so they'll. I like how they will allow you to struggle to your own demise slowly.
Who are you talking about?
Both T and Richard, they will.
Yeah.
Like,
T?
Yeah. T's gotten really good at like
Not with
like,
me.
T tapped me with pressure once.
Yeah.
Which is like
Once.
embarrassing.
Once.
Embarrassing, man. I haven't been tapped with pressure since I was like a blue belt.
Yeah. He's got like a cool thing. Like he'll get you into like right at the point of submission. And like if you like are gonna like start to flex your way out of it, then he's gonna set it. But if he realizes like you're trying to solve how to get out of there,
Yeah, T's great.
he will like allow that space so that way he can transition into like the next submission he's going to start raining down on you. But I like it because if I on those days I do like want to fight, or whatever, like it's like okay, cool, I'm done. I don't want to solve the puzzle.
That's such an important thing, like, to have like training partners that have a lot of different styles and a lot of different specialties. Like one of the things that I love about the gym that we're training at now is that there's actually like a pretty good spectrum of people.
Yeah.
Like
Yes.
you tend to see gyms like converge around the same techniques,
Yeah.
right? Because it's like all based on the
Leg
style of-
lockers.
this is like a leg lock gym. This is a
Leggy choke. Yeah.
Like I remember I went to Coyote's gym when I first moved to California, and it was like Berimbolo City. Like everybody was just like that's all they did. Everybody was Berimbolo. White belts were Berimbolo, and I was just like, what is happening right now? And like that was the style of the gym.
Yeah.
That's what everybody did.
Were they good at it?
Yeah, Coyote. They were amazing at it. Yeah. they were really good. I mean, I got my back taken like all day. It was just they're really good at it.
Yeah.
But Coyote has like one of the best Berimbolos who's ever lived.
Yeah.
So like that's his technique. That's what they were converging around. But I like having that spectrum where you can like train with a lot of different people, a lot of different styles. Like that's I think like best case.
Yeah.
Because you can kind of choose your experience. You can experience a lot of different things. Because like competition is so you never really know what you're gonna get.
Yeah.
Like you're getting what you're getting.
Yeah.
It's like a
right?
box of chocolates.
It really is. Like you never really know.
I like the Shark Tank because it simulates when you're just gassed and shit's hit the fan, and you really have to rely on the technique and calming down and your fundamentals. But what I do, a little trick, what I try to do when it's rolls is, if you guys notice, I don't, a lot of times, I would say about 75% of the times, I don't ask to roll with someone. I wait for someone to choose me. That way I play the game like I don't know who I'm rolling with next, especially on Coffee Crew. I'll sit there and I'll try to look at the ground, and someone will go up and be like, hey, Joe, or someone come over. And that way it kind of gives me practice that I don't know who's gonna roll with me next.
Yeah.
See, the guy gets his brown belt, goes to his head immediately. Like, everyone's going to come to me now.
Yeah.
I'm just going to sit here.
Oh, now I know to look for him.
No. I don't ask. You ask.
Yes, you come to me. You ask me.
Well, when you're brown, and you know this because you've been a brown, and I'll help you on your journey now. Like I'm on the mountaintop.
I appreciate that. Man.
Yeah. So when we're
here.
on the mountaintop and we're looking down on all the other people in the clouds and all that, we
On
can
the
hear the eagles fly. It's just, and you would understand this. We're just trying to tell them. It's just sometimes they have to make it up to the mountains so that they can learn something. They need to come to me.
I know.
Yeah,
I've been on the mountain for 3 years now.
Yeah, I love it. Yeah.
I will remain on it indefinitely.
I
Apparently.
love being on the mountain with you now. Yeah, it's awesome. Another question.
You're so humble. I mean, I know Jiu-Jitsu emphasizes.
Well, it's a
humility, but not for Joe.
No.
well. The thing is,
You don't have time
I
for it.
love that you guys are improving. But when you get brown, you have like this. It's like the
Joe
answers.
has the honey badger don't give a fuck attitude.
It's like
You just like download all of the answers to all jiu-jitsu.
it's
questions.
almost like that when you put it on.
It is.
It's almost like a matrix.
It's like,
Yep.
I think of purple nurple when I put my.
dude, I miss my purple belt.
I
miss
just
being a
like-
purple belt so much.
God.
Why?
It's just so much fun to be a purple
A
belt because
purple
there's no
belt is a fun-
expectations.
There's no expectation. but
Right? You could be
go
late
ahead.
all the time.
This
You
is
could
my
be
plus. Say why purple is the best belt.
Dude,
Go ahead.
it's the best. Like you can be late all the time. There's an expectation that you're not going to do warm ups. People expect that you know a little bit, but like not so much that they're going to pepper you with questions all the time.
Yeah.
If you fuck up, you're like, I'm
I like
still a
that
purple
purple
belt. You'll catch a black belt every once in a while,
Yep.
but most of the time you won't. Like
Yep.
it's just such a fun, and there's like it's just
Such a good middle ground.
It's a goofy belt. Like you know that if
It's
you just keep
purgatory,
coming-
man.
It really is, and you know that if you just keep coming, eventually you're gonna get a black belt.
Yeah.
Because getting a purple belt is so hard. So when you get it, you're like, all right. If I just keep showing up, I'll probably get a black belt eventually. But I don't even have to work that hard. Like
And I don't have to show up.
I don't have to show up
warm-ups.
for warm-ups.
Yeah, he cashed his in early. It's like class 3 with the purple belt, and he's like, "Oh man, you guys have already gotten in."
No, he actually showed up late for the ceremony where he got his purple belt.
Yeah,
with
he
no
started
gi.
early.
That's because he's
He
actually
started
been a
early.
purple belt for like 4 years.
Yes.
Yeah.
Sam-
Right
It's
on
one of the
time.
best purple belt stories ever. He's like, "What do you mean we're
sandbagging.
wearing white
White
gis
gis.
for the promotion ceremony?"
Do you know that story?
You
No, I
should
don't.
have seen the look on his face.
yeah, because you didn't see him running through the background, so he came in.
I was
and-
there.
He
yeah.
came in late
You didn't see him?
No.
Oh,
because he was late.
that's what I mean. He came through, and like if you blinked, you would have missed him because he came in and like, hey, oh,
His face was
Everybody's
like,
fucking.
Everybody's in white.
I'm in
And
black
then-
or blue.
and then of
Blue.
course Professor and T and the others are looking at him like,
Go.
dude,
Dude.
and then go. And so he like sprints across underneath the sign, peels out, goes out the back, and then like we're starting to hand out the new belts, and then Luis is like, I made it.
Yeah.
Okay, because I saw you.
Yeah.
You had a white gi on.
Yeah.
Okay. I
Yeah,
didn't
he
see
came
you
back with
walking
a
around.
white gi.
But I almost
Just in
didn't show
time.
up that day because I get back here. I go. Laura was in the truck and the kids were or Christian. I'm like, hang on, let me just go grab my gi. I couldn't find my gi, my white gi, right? So I found my pants, my bottoms, but I could not find it. Find the
right there.
yeah. Well, fuck. Until I sat down on the couch, I'm like, fuck it, I'm not going. I don't care. I'm probably just gonna get a stripe and whatever. And I started watching TV. Boom! Oh, it's on. It's on Steve.
And I was so cold for that time and naked and lonely and dark.
So I rip it off and I head out by myself. I go, nah, don't worry about it, babe. It's not gonna be anything. It's gonna be quick. So whatever.
Okay, buddy.
And then I show up and it's like,
Then you
okay,
get
cool,
your purple belt.
boom. Yeah. I was like, oh shit.
It's
Cool.
an exciting day.
Yeah.
Do you
it was
feel
very
like you're a
exciting.
purple belt now?
I feel like I'm. A
Yeah,
purple
it's
belt.
well deserved.
I was gonna pull a Joe, but
Yeah.
Have you felt like you're a purple belt for a long time? Like, did you feel like you were at that
I
level?
felt comfortable
Yeah.
with the purple belt.
Ask him how long he's been in blue belt.
Like, probably as long as I was. 10 years.
About 5-6 years, yeah. But I wasn't nervous about it.
Yeah. I felt the same way. When I got my purple belt, like, I felt like, okay, like, this
Cool.
probably makes sense. When I got my brown belt, I felt like it was too early. Like, he gave it to me, and I was like, actually, when he pulled it out of his gi, he said my name. I literally went, oh, shit. Like, I didn't think that I deserved it.
Yeah.
Like, I didn't want it at all.
Yeah, the one
But
thing.
you grow into it, right? I mean,
No,
that's the
think
way
that's
it's supposed
like
to be.
some gyms, like some coaches are like that, but like
That's how I felt when I got
Joe,
my blue belt. I mean, I got
Joe.
my blue belt really early.
I don't know what you're saying, but I
Yeah.
didn't do it.
Same with the blue belt. Like
No, but you grew into it. I mean,
right, but
quick.
it came up quick. Like I wasn't trying. Like for me, this journey isn't about trying to or chasing the belt. Like I like the learning side of it, and then the byproduct of it is, hey, it's a different recognition because the professor is recognizing,
right.
your evolution, and that's on. Yeah, man, that's another gentleman's opinion. I'm just gonna have fun along the way, And you're talking about at purple belt, you start seeing sequences. Well, I think with the ability to roll with all the different ranks and all the different styles, like there's a few of us on the blue belt side that are already like, hey, there's a sequence where we're trying to explore and sharing it, right? So that way we can get like your point of view, and your point of view, and be like, hey, so I've got this move, I've got the sequence. What do you think about it? And then they're like, hey, well, if you tweak it this way, oh yeah. So it's been fun. At least I've got a small journey for a sequence I've been working on, and every time I'm like sharing like what I'm trying to make out of it, someone's like, find something different. It's a different detail, and it's so cool because it's a full community that is putting input in, and then to make somebody else better at a move that
more gooder.
Yeah,
Well,
more gooder.
You're gonna add to that as well too, right? 'Cause like when you figure it out, you're gonna have your own style.
Yeah.
That's one of the things I love the most about jiu-jitsu. It's just like, everyone's body's different, everyone's size is different, like everyone's style is a little bit different, their athletic ability is different, but like it is accessible to everyone. You just have to figure out the problem the way that you can execute the problem.
Yeah. What
Right,
fits
like-
your frame?
Your frame, your athletic ability, like like we were talking about T, like nobody can move as fast as him.
No.
And so like the stuff that I do, like I have to do it differently.
And that's a big human moving really fast.
Yeah.
No, that's not human. What are you talking about?
It's an
For those
Why'd
who don't
you
know
say
him,
human?
he's like 6'1",
Mutant.
like 240, former NFL linebacker. Like the dude's
It's a world-class
he's huge.
athlete, literally.
He moves so fast. It's
It's a
crazy.
world-class athlete.
And his like reaction timing is so. We'll see the same thing,
Twitch
and he'll just
muscle.
get there a full second
Yeah.
before I do. Like it's,
his when he slows down, it still beats me.
it's
Yeah.
crazy.
You know what I mean? Like he has his anticipatory.
That's fancy.
Yeah, recognition.
Yeah.
Like man, just being able to see.
It's like game awareness.
Yeah, and and now he's starting to figure out like his stand-up game.
Oh yeah.
Like his takedowns, like some of the body movements are similar to what he was doing, like getting by a human as a defensive end, going around lineman. You're
scary thought.
you know what I mean?
I've
That's
rolled.
That's a defensive lineman that you're
that's a
trying to do
scary
stand
thought.
up
As a
with.
defensive end, that's coming to take. I don't stand a chance. But again, he full bore. He could probably do that to every, like for me at least, all day. But he is definitely patient enough to like, all right, cool. He will try. All right, there's this one technique I'm not really good at. I want to try it on him. Gives me an opening to help like learn and understand a guy that fast as well. So I do appreciate that. Yeah, he can go full tilt if he decided to. He's got the engine for it, but he doesn't. And I like folks like that. Like you do that very well. You do that sometimes until you get in your old paper cutter mode.
Until he gets top side
Yeah.
control, and it's just like Strangle City every
Strangle
time.
City. Yeah. But what I like, he's consistent on all ranks.
That was like the first time he did that to me. I was like, this motherfucker. He's not a blue belt. What a sandbagging son of a bitch.
Yeah.
Like this guy's a black belt at the paper cutter.
Yeah.
I like the paper cutter.
Yeah, no shit.
Hey, but T is for me not a good role because those takedowns. Oh my God, my arm.
Yeah.
hurts.
You gotta do
You know
it.
why my arm hurts? Because
Because
if
T
I
took you
don't
down.
fucking slam the mat as hard as I
Yeah.
can, my whole body would fucking break.
Yeah.
Like when I go down, because he'll flip me.
Yeah.
I go, oh shit, here it comes. And when you're falling, especially that
Yeah.
fast, you want to fucking slap that fucking mat as
Yeah.
hard as you can, so that it doesn't hurt here.
Yeah,
it
but
hurts.
it's still whipping
It
your
stings.
arm.
It
Yeah.
stings. So I'm tired of that. Like that's it. I'm done. Now I will start. Sitting. All right. Let's
You're a
get-
purple belt now, man. You gotta.
Yeah.
Fuck no, not with T.
You
Sorry,
got it.
excuse my language.
You gotta
Anybody
evolve
with
your
tea.
game, man. You gotta
You
try new things.
You gotta go where you're uncomfortable.
You gotta keep them separated.
Yeah.
No.
So speaking about different styles, I want to
Hold
ask
on.
you.
I want to talk about somebody because I want to fucking highlight, and
Okay.
it just came up a little while ago. I want to highlight somebody that deserves the attention. Okay,
Oh Lord.
and this is Brody because he went ultra heavy, and that guy was fucking ultra heavy.
Squishmallow.
And
that's like
he-
Masters 1 too, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Masters
So
one.
that's
I think,
like
yeah.
ultra heavy 30-year-old.
that is
yeah,
very
lady, yeah.
gelatinous.
Gelatinous.
Is that-
Gelatinous. Like I said,
Yes.
Squishmallow.
Yes. So he was here. He was here.
Pillow.
And then it just looks so hilarious.
Out of place.
Just so out of place. Like, what is he doing? And yeah, they fucking went at it. Boom, boom. And he fucking smashed him. And you would see Brody like frame up and his hand would disappear. but
Oh, so was he like fat?
yeah.
It was like pushing a bubble,
Oh, okay. I get it now.
like a sandbag, like
So-
a, like a,
so
like
You
a
ever
water
seen the
bed.
movie The Blob?
Yes.
Have you ever been under a waterbed?
Yes.
Okay, that
So
Child of the 90s.
So check this out. Brody finally got a little side control, on his side, and he pushed on his, to frame right here on the
His arm
hip.
just disappeared.
So then the guy's like gut moved up and went up against his neck here, and then started choking himself out
Just
because
took up space.
yeah, because he pushed on this end and it.
The hell kind of fat is that? It's like water displacement.
Yeah,
Like,
I'm serious. No
Yeah.
joke. No
never
joke.
heard that before.
So yeah, he stayed under. I mean, it was bad, and I wanna highlight
stayed
that.
under, stayed
You
under.
did great.
Yeah.
You did great, Brett.
You did great.
You held
You're
your
alive.
breath.
You really-
And he got up, and he was so enthusiastic about it too. Like, oh man, like
He
I couldn't do anything.
What are you gonna do?
Yeah.
Oh
Yeah.
shit!
Yeah.
And he was kind of smiling. Why'd
It's
you
like
do
fighting
it?
a waterbed.
Dude, I'll tell you, those big fat guys that can like move.
Yes. that's
Those guys
rough.
are scary.
Yeah.
Like when they're that fat and they still are athletic, that's when it
Yes.
gets like super scary. You're like,
Yes.
holy shit, how's that guy even moving like
When
that?
they ride you like a top with their belly button,
Yeah.
and you're like, and you could just feel like their toes are way out there, just barely touching.
There's no
You're
knee on
like-
belly.
Yeah, it's just squished.
Belly on belly.
Yeah, you're just.
That happens a lot to black belts too, because like they get to a certain level where they just don't have to do that much like strenuous stuff, and they just get fat.
Yeah.
And then you see these guys, but they're still like killers. They're just,
Speaking
like,
of black belts,
350-pound black belts.
speaking of black belts, at our tournament, I've been kind of seeing it through social media or IBJJF on their feeds. Whenever my lady shares it, that one, like, man, he's like 8 or 9 stripe black belt.
Yeah, the older guy.
The older guy,
The
he
coral
was,
belt?
Yeah, no, it wasn't quite coral. It was. He's just right before, I guess. He's got like.
So you get your coral at 7 stripes, I think.
Okay, he's at, I think right at 7
So
stripes.
he would be, yeah. So he'd
Yeah,
be
he's
6
an older.
stripes.
He's a man. He's fit
6 and probably
as
a
10.
professor, so it looks
Yeah.
like there's
Yeah, he's
100.
He's right there.
That's actually so much fun. If you ever watch like the old, like
Yes.
the red belt, like coral belt
Yeah.
matches, IBJF, like the Masters, like 9 or whatever.
There were,
It's
Yeah.
just like so
yeah.
funny. They're like so old school jujitsu. Like they
Yeah.
hold their hands like this.
Yeah.
Like they do like all the old school stuff. But it's so fun to watch because they're like, old guys and they're still competing.
Yeah, they're warriors.
Yeah, they're out there just doing like old school
we
Gracie
saw
jiu-jitsu.
we saw a match in Orlando when we went. And it was a couple old dudes that were coral belts. It was cool to see.
At Worlds, I watched
But
the
man,
Master.
they are
There's 7.
technical too.
Yeah.
They may be
Yeah,
slow,
I mean, dude,
but
get a
it's very
coral.
like if you wanted to watch a freeze frame like like version. Hey, how to do jujitsu in a magazine? It was like bam, bam, bam. I was like, oh wow, that's.
I mean, they're
impressive.
not going to do like super explosive
No.
shit anymore.
Nope.
But like, I think to get a coral belt, you have to be a black belt for I don't even know, like 20 years, 25
Well,
years, something like that.
The
Like,
first
maybe more.
2 or 3 stripes are 3 years apiece,
Yeah,
and
so
everyone
it's,
after
it's like
that's
3 years, then 5 years, 5 years, and then I think it actually jumps to like 6 or 7 years, something like that.
I think there's a minimum age limit.
There is
though.
a measurement.
Yeah.
Well, there's a minimum time limit as a black belt. So if you get your black belt at 18 and you like stay a black, well, you wouldn't not stay a black belt, but you're still like active, you would get. There's like a minimum age at
Yes.
that point that you would get it, but it's like active time.
Yeah.
Because
Gotta
you
be
get your
active.
first stripe as a black belt after 3
3
years, and then
years.
you get another stripe after 3 years, and then there's like a time frame.
Yeah.
Which is why there's like so few coral and red belts and like because nobody's been around that long.
Yeah, or started it early enough.
Or started early enough. Yeah. I mean, now you got guys getting black belts at freaking 18, like all the time.
Yeah, but they're trying to
At
get
18 years old?
Yes.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Wait, not jiu-jitsu.
Yeah.
Yes.
Nico Galvon got his black belt at 18.
Yes.
The
Yeah,
Rotolos
but they're
got their black
but they're
belts.
like winning.
They
like,
started training when they were like 8.
Yeah,
Yeah.
And
The
so when
Rotolos have been
yeah.
training jiu-jitsu since they were like 5 years old.
Yeah.
Doing YouTube videos and shit.
Yeah.
And Danaher's Wonder Kid, Helena,
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
16-year-old is beating
It's
world
just different now,
champions.
man.
Yeah.
Like,
But you get your blue belt at 16.
yeah, and you can get
You
your
do, and
purple
you
belt
get
at 17,
17.
but then they go brown, black like immediately.
And it's usually like if they've won like a major tournament and they'll win them. Those guys win like bat.
Cole Abate,
Yes.
right,
Yep.
was a purple belt,
Yes.
destroying black belts at ADCC. Like you imagine being like a 16-year-old and you like just got your purple belt and you like and at one point he was like traveling around the United States.
Yes.
And like you entered a tournament in Nashville and then like you look at your fucking bracket and Cole Abate's there. Like
Yeah.
like the best you're getting
losing.
is second.
Yeah,
You're losing.
You're losing.
Yeah.
The kid was he was a black belt at 16. He just couldn't get a black belt.
They couldn't give it to him.
Yeah.
Like he's
Wow.
he's from
Dominating.
Texas, by the way. He's from
Oh,
San
I
Antonio.
didn't know that.
I remember him. I went to a fight to win that Lynn was
Okay.
competing at, and he was like I think he was like 10 years old. They were like,
Oh, wow.
Yeah, he already
know?
was like ice cold. He went out there like he was already that good.
He did an event.
Yeah, he
at
did an
10.
event, a fight to win at like 10 years old, and then
Wow.
and then like he just disappeared from Texas, and then I started seeing him at Art of Jiu-Jitsu in San Diego. His dad like moved the whole family out there so that he could train with the Mendez brothers.
Oh, another great gym.
Yeah.
Which
That's
was
one
like-
gym I would like to visit. Like a bucket list gym to visit. That's one of that ones.
Mine's Marcelo's gym. I would like, or A team. I would like to do that.
Yeah.
Yeah, something.
18?
A B team. I'm sorry.
B-team.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
That's like
yeah.
right here, man.
Yeah,
I was gonna say there's no 18.
yeah. Well, maybe you and I could start a gym. It'd be 18.
That'd be fun.
After my name, not yours.
Of course, of course.
We wouldn't have it any other way.
Yeah,
We wouldn't want to
no way.
hurt
So-
your feelings.
Why did
Yeah.
you do jiu-jitsu? And what kind of style do you think is your style? 'Cause
Why did I jiu-jitsu?
Why'd you start?
I mean, I started. I was talking about it before. My cousin introduced it to us when I was like really young. I just saw like immediately it was like the coolest thing I'd ever seen. Because
Okay.
I was like, I love like, I mean, I grew up in the '90s. Like I was born in the mid '80s. Like old ninja movies. Like I used to watch remember the movie The Three Ninjas? Like the three little kids.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Rocky,
yeah.
Colt, and Tum Tum.
Yeah.
I probably watched that movie like 150 times. Like I love that movie, and like I had this obsession with like martial arts, and there was like one Taekwondo place in my town, and like I was I would always tell my parents like I want to do Taekwondo because I want to be a ninja. But like when I was like 10 years old when I saw the UFC for the first time, and it was like immediately like okay, everything you see on TV is nonsense. Like that's how people strangle each other. Like that's how you kill someone. And so I was just always like I always knew that I was going to train. I never like had the discipline to actually commit to it. Like because my early 20s I was fucking. I was not. It was not a good early.
Well, tell us more about that.
Yeah. No, I did a lot of like I traveled a lot. I was like at one point I lived in 5 different states and 7 different cities in like a 2-year period.
Oh,
I lived
cool.
in
Oh, that's
Hawaii.
cool.
I worked on a cruise ship for like 2 years. I
fun.
just like traveled. Like I just did a lot of like random shit. Like never held a job for more than like other than the cruise ship job for more than like 6 months at a time.
Because you were
No, just like complete degenerate too. Loved gambling. Like I would go to casinos all the time. Like I worked in the restaurant industry, so I was just like,
Oh, yeah,
making
that's-
like $300-400. I did fine dining too, so I was making like $300-400 a night sometimes.
Oh, yeah.
Just like
Fun money.
having a great time in my early 20s. And so I just never really had the discipline to like commit to jiu-jitsu. I was always doing something. I always had like, a girlfriend that was more important or, I work nights, so it's like so hard to train at night because you work at a restaurant. But then, when I like moved to Austin, it was finally like, and like the gym Sinister that we used to train at
Yes, sir.
had like a really great vibe.
It
was
had
like,
an awesome vibe.
it was the type of gym where there was like no pressure at all. Like the black belt there, Lynn, awesome dude. Like he
Yep.
makes everyone feel welcome. If you want to train once a week, awesome, train once a week. No pressure to compete at all. Like he
Yeah.
never once ever tried to get anybody to compete unless they wanted to. If you wanted to, he would be like, yeah, let's work on competing. But it was just a really great vibe, and it was like exactly what I needed because like I never felt pressure to be disciplined. It was just like I just wanted to go because it was fun, and it was like it was perfect too. It was like 8 minutes from my house, like I could literally like
Wow.
walk there if I
Yeah.
wanted to. It was
your
just like
workout.
it checked all the boxes. And then like guys like Joe trained there who
Try to take your head off.
Yeah, it was great, and like you had a bunch of different, and like it was a really open gym too, so a lot of people came from other gyms.
Yeah,
and like this was, this was 2017, 2018.
Yeah.
Now people think of Austin as like this like mecca of jiu-jitsu.
Yeah.
Back then it was just like, we're talking 5, 6, 7 years ago.
There was hardly anything really.
There was a couple of gyms. There was like
Coopers,
which was the big one.
Gracie
there was Rabati. There was Sinister. They had Gracie Baja, but it was like a really small community.
Yeah.
There
hardly
was
anything.
what's the one down south? There was always 10 Planet.
Top Team?
No, Brazilian Top Team was here, but it was there was maybe like 10 gyms, but everybody knew each other because everyone trained with each other. It was
everybody knew each other.
And then it was like the pandemic hit, and overnight Austin became this like huge jiu-jitsu venue.
Yeah,
like everyone.
Joe Rogan.
Yeah.
Well,
not just Rogan.
open.
Like once
we're
New
open.
Wave and B Team moved here, we were open.
We're open.
Like all these other gyms started to come here. But like with that time when Austin was like this really like small community, it was just like so fun. And like Sinister, doors were always open. We'd have people coming in all the time. So like,
Yeah, we got a copy crew, and we see a lot of the people that were in that almost. Yeah. Like most of the places we've gone to, those are people that were part of Cooper's or Sinister.
Yeah. It was just a lot of fun. It was like a very small, like everybody knew each other. Like you'd go to a tournament and you compete with the same people over and over again.
Same people.
And like you'd see the same people over and over again at the tournament, so you'd like watch their matches because you'd roll with them. So it was a lot of fun. Now it's like, you go to freaking IBJ Austin, there's like 6,000 people in there.
There's so many people.
I will say crazy. Though, at not quite his age, you have to.
God forbid.
Yeah, God forbid. At least in my age bracket, Master 4 at 195, the medium heavy, them dudes are fit. All of us.
Oh, yes.
There's one particular gentleman out there, he is, I think this Austin tournament would have been like the 3rd or 4th time we've been in a bracket together.
Yeah.
And had foot injury on Austin, wasn't able to row with him, and it was cool because we were both like, dang it, man, we don't get the opportunity to like meet each other and that.
That's good.
Because I checked in, just got to the coordinator, and was like, look, man, my foot's messed up. I just want to make sure the other opponent gets a win. Hey, rest, chill out. You don't have to get spun up right now. I got a foot injury. You know what was cool though during then is I thought I was being an asshole doing it, and the guys were like, no, man, at least thank you for showing up, because a lot of dudes wouldn't have showed up, and I've been sitting out here. I would have been sitting here for 30 minutes not knowing why I've got this guy not showing up to roll. So,
that's a good point.
But we agreed right there in line as he was checking in. I was like, hey, man, sorry I couldn't roll. He's like, hey, when we roll next? I said, name it. He goes, well, I'm rolling to Houston. So I was like, all right, cool. I'm signing up for Houston.
Let's go, baby.
Yeah. Jimmy Lee Stewart.
That's a tough weight class, man. Like I feel like everything from like 165 to like just below super heavyweight. That's where you get all like the athletes. Like the guys who like really like because a guy that weighs like 185 pounds, you can get like skinny 185, but you could also get yoked 185.
Yeah, so like
yoked.
Or at my age, TRT 185.
So I come in normally like. It's up to 195. I'm usually like at 187, so I'm kind of like the middle.
That's tough, man.
It's tough, and I know as some of the other guys I've rolled with have like cut to get down there. I will say this: when you're both same level, same weight, similar age, if they're 195 and they don't want to move, you're not moving 195. I don't care how many times you bench press 225, 250. When a grown man who's an athlete understands he doesn't want to move, it's a struggle. That's the thing. Like I felt like at least the blue belt level, the first couple were just at stand up battle, right? Just grip, just hang on, and then very rigid. But what I have noticed is as you keep going, it starts to smooth out. Right, you start to see a little bit of style, a little bit of okay, like you're talking about. I can work a game into this, but
you're spider guard, man.
Eventually,
you're spider.
Eventually,
you're a good spider.
Have you ever heard the 20-10 rule?
No.
So it's like every 20 years or every 20 pounds or 10 years, you add a belt. And so if a guy's like 20, if he's a blue belt and he's 20 pounds heavier than you, he's a purple belt.
Yes.
If he's a blue belt and he's 10 years younger than you, he's a purple belt.
Okay.
So it's like a way to like frame, like your kind of level relative to someone else's. Because like there's so much of a variation.
Yeah, but there are exceptions, i.e. Evan. Evan doesn't apply to that because
Evan's in a different bracket.
That kid, he's like 20 for one, but he's a white belt, but he's just not human as well.
Yeah.
Oh, isn't he a former wrestler though?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But that's like he's a former wrestler. And
I will say
20.
this:
like
he did a very good.
he's basically a purple belt the day he starts. Like,
yeah. The only thing he's trying to like plug into is the gi, and he's getting so much better at it. And he's going to be so
almost
dangerous.
decapitated.
and
He'll
build those pathways so much faster.
He nearly took a dude. He had somebody
almost
in a
took his head
guillotine
off.
so hard that it wasn't high. It wasn't high. The guy, it was kind of like the weird shallow end thing, right? Like, I'm drowning, just stand up. Like, it wasn't that high of a guillotine. The guy could have probably just put his feet on the ground and stood up, took the pressure off, but it was so hard. His knees almost touched his shoulders. Like, as Evan was lifting up, it was so painful that he was curled up in a ball.
No, well, what he did, he
Yeah.
didn't go up smooth. He
Yep.
yanked.
He yanked, but it was like a deadlift.
Yeah,
It was like a,
and that guy's
Just
that young
legs,
man
he
aggression
just
right
like
there.
he curled up.
he curled up,
It's all his
like-
body weight went.
tap.
Yeah.
But like legit, I mean, he's like on paper, he's like a blue belt, purple belt, probably.
Yes.
For sure.
Right, like
And young and
he's
strong.
because he's young, he's strong, he's wrestled before, and like
A
you know,
lot, yeah.
people like to discount wrestling as an advantage in
Nuh-uh.
jiu-jitsu. It's a fucking
No.
advantage, man.
Yeah.
especially
it is
when you're
an
on top,
advantage. Oh, yeah.
because you know how to keep your balance. So they're so hard to sweep.
The movement.
Getting
Like-
around, like if somebody's in turtle, they can get around that like
So
a person
fast.
so fast.
Once they figure out like dynamic passing
Yep.
where they stand up, it's like they'll toss your leg aside and just like jump on you.
and
It's
arm
the
drags
craziest-
for days,
Yeah.
like just snatching them,
Yeah.
and then they're on your hip, and you're like, oh.
God
dear.
forbid you stand up with them, like
Yeah.
you're just going down. You might as well just
Yeah.
pull guard.
I think another
Yeah.
big part of it's just the mentality of a
Yeah.
wrestler versus
That's tough, man.
like the gentle art. And my thing is, it's not a gentle art. It's just I am there to punish you, and hopefully you tap, and you're there to punish me. So the wrestler mindset's just different. Like I could be blindfolded, and within seconds, I feel like I know what kind of person that is wrestler just by the way they're
Oh, for sure.
moving. Yeah, it's just I'm gonna take your neck off.
There's an intentionality with
Yeah.
wrestling.
Oh, yeah.
That's like we
Like-
don't really teach that in jiu-jitsu to like be like really intentional with your movements.
Yep.
Like in wrestling, it's like it's death. Like
Yeah.
every
Yep.
class, every training session is death.
And I will die before I lose. It's like a bulldog mentality.
I mean, Rogan says this all the time. Those are like the toughest people in the world, man. Like Olympic world champion
Wrestling?
wrestling,
Yes.
especially ones from like other countries,
Yeah.
like freaking
Yep.
Russia and Iran and all these places. Like,
Turkey.
yeah,
What
And
warm
then they have oil.
They don't
all
give
over the body.
They don't give. You know what?
those guys are
And
rough.
I'm
and
sorry.
wrestlers, they don't like.
Do
They
we
can't
have
be
heat?
on their
Yeah.
back, right? Because they lose as soon as they're.
Yeah.
But once they get comfortable there too, and they figure that shit out, like
Then it's
Yeah.
over.
it's done. Like it's a wrap.
Yeah, right now, Evan's going through that phase of not being aware of where his arms are, like
Right.
getting into somebody's guard because that's unnatural. Once he figures out, like, hey, don't put my, because a couple times he, just by swimming through or trying to just figure out through the legs, he was like higher level would have been snatched up for definitely some triangles, some arm bars there. So once he figures out how to control the legs and understand that he has the advantage from there, man, he's going to be dangerous.
Do you know who Brandon Reed is?
Yes.
He's like a former national champion wrestler who's a purple belt in jiu-jitsu now.
Okay.
But he has an Instagram account. He trains with like you know who Jiujitsu is?
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
he trains at that gym.
Oh, okay.
But he does a bunch of stuff around
Yes.
like wrestling for jiu-jitsu.
Yeah.
He posts videos all the time. It's actually super interesting stuff.
Wow.
Because it's like
Very
he
good.
applies wrestling to jiu-jitsu, and he's like he's a purple belt,
Purple.
quote unquote.
Yeah.
But he's not really, you know.
No,
Yeah.
he's not really.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Toughest purple belt I've ever
Yeah.
been on.
And he's like a
Yeah.
super heavyweight too.
Oh,
Or
God.
heavyweight. I think it's like probably 230, 240.
Oh
Big boy.
hell, no!
Big boy.
God,
That's a
70
T. That's another T.
And if
Na-
he's that high
national
level,
champion wrestler.
that dude can move and
Not
he's flexing.
NCAA. It's NI.
Yeah,
whatever,
but still, he's flexy, he's
Yeah.
big, and he's fast.
No, yeah.
No, yeah.
No, you watch him move in some of his videos. It's just like, oh, okay.
Super intelligent too, just
Oh.
adapting what
It's a
he
different kind of
knows.
person.
Yeah, it's scary. And then what kind of style would you say is your style for jiu-jitsu?
The laziest style possible right now.
Is it?
I would
Well,
agree with that.
what he meant to say is it Nutella or is it?
Right now, it's Nutella for sure.
Nutella.
Yeah. I used to love Bushesha, and so like I used to try to like build my game around the stuff that he did. But I don't have that level of athleticism anymore. Like when I was in my early 30s, even, I mean, before that, but like when I really started dedicating myself to it, like I felt like I could move much better. So I was like, I could bury bolo. I was doing like weird stuff for like a big guy, and I loved Bushisha. So like I would, watch all his videos and try to emulate his game. But now my game is entirely like slow, just trying to smother because I can't move as fast. I don't have the same amount of cardio. Like my body's all fucked up. So I'm just trying to like smother people to death at this point.
But when he gets into competition mode, and he's like set on it, like this is like one of the guys I want to be around because we've been through that, and so I've been trying to nudge him a little bit. And when he competes, it's really neat to see because even like you competed last year, you were 6 weeks off, like on vacation,
Terrible
correct?
idea.
And then he jumped onto which tournament was it?
Austin, IBJJ.
Yeah, and he just shows up, and then you went against a guy, and you did very well. I think. Considering,
I think back at it, I think it was an okay match.
but I
think he was fucking around a lot too. He was just trying new shit.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I don't know. You guys look like bulls, like
Again,
knocking heads.
Humble.
Yeah.
No, he was. I've watched. I
not
follow
to
him on
steal that
Instagram because
one.
we started
Yeah.
talking afterwards.
I was just messing around.
He actually won Masters Worlds at brown belt.
Yeah.
Like right after Austin.
Yeah.
But like I was watching his matches at Masters World, and I was like, yeah, he's fucking way better than the way he was doing that day. I think he was just like humoring me. To be honest.
That's fun.
Yeah.
You know, when you're at like a level when you realize like, hey, I'm a brown belt, and then there's like that one brown belt, you're like, that's a brown belt.
Yeah. No, he was humoring me for sure.
Yeah.
He was way stronger than
Yeah.
me. Like he was bigger. He
There's
he was
recreational.
more explosive. You could tell his cardio was like way better than mine.
Yeah.
I was like 3 minutes in. I was like,
I was watching
hoping that he wasn't gonna touch me again.
shows up off vacation.
No, it was
I'm
brutal,
gonna
man.
compete.
And it's funny. Because when I compete, I like people to call out when a minute has passed and then when there's a minute left. And otherwise, I don't want people to say anything because like I literally like I don't want to hear other people's voices. And so I heard 1 minute, and the next thing I knew, the timer was going off. And I asked everybody, I was like, did somebody call it? And they were like, yeah, we all yelled it. I didn't hear a fucking thing. I literally, I feel like my ears went deaf. Like, I couldn't hear anything because I was so tired. And at one point, he tried to collar drag me like 3 times.
Yeah.
And
He's
after the
yanking
third
him.
one, I got up and I thought to myself, if he does that again, I'm going to die. Like, if he does that again, I'm going to fall on my fucking face in front of all these people. And so, like, I just wouldn't let him grab my collar for the rest of the time that we were there. Like, the minute he grabbed my collar, I was, like, fighting off his grips because I didn't want to get collar dragged again. It was brutal. Like, he was so strong.
That's fun.
Yeah. We'll see. Maybe I'll train this year and I'll,
Maybe.
I'll catch him again soon.
I need you on that competition train, man.
Yeah.
No pressure.
No pressure.
I'm
No.
recruiting.
No pressure, man. No pressure. You can't peer pressure me into competing.
I know.
Nah,
That's why I like to send you pictures of me fighting giants.
Yeah.
So what?
Be a Brody.
Yeah. Don't be scared.
Yeah.
Don't be scared, homie.
Just get underneath the water. That's all you need. It's AI, whatever art generator of people under water beds
Or get a waterbed.
and
then
Jiu-Jitsu gis.
Yeah, but that's a waterbed that wants to choke
A
you out.
waterbed's still a thing. Do people still have them?
I don't know.
I remember they were all the rage. in
Hey,
that.
come over.
God, yeah.
Hey.
Yeah, and did you have the one that had the wave brakes or the non-wave brakes? You know, there was, because before.
I don't remember that. What? Yeah, you're way too deep.
Whoa.
This guy's a waterbed
Yeah.
expert.
Whoa.
Well, no,
Slow
like
down,
I
cowboy.
grew up with like my parents had a waterbed, and they were like one of the first ones to like get a, like when the waterbeds were coming out. Well, when they first came out, it was just a single cell bladder, as you can imagine. Not like we had no issues,
Somebody
but you
gets
would
up.
always hear reports, especially with those big. There was no like someone would hit one side and that wave would send
Yeah.
wife off the
okay.
other side, right? Or it would break, you know, because the frame had like
Wave
little
breaks.
fingernails or
Yeah.
staples or whatever from the bumpers and all that. So you know, you get pushed around. Well, people go like, man, you get comfortable, and then your partner jumps in bed with you and goes boom, and then you're just waving and going around. So then. Of course, they're like, we got to put 2.0s, put wave brakes. So like, you know, if
Makes
I jump
sense.
on this side, it's not going to like wreck me on this side. So yeah, there is 1.0 and 2.0.
Kind of like the.
And I'm sure they went through many evolutions.
I wonder if
of
that's
that.
still a thing, though.
I don't know.
I haven't heard of anyone having a waterbed in like
Come over tonight, you'll find out.
3 decades. Thanks, Joe.
Oh, I will say
Joe,
that
you gotta
there
make
is,
it weird, Joe.
I don't know how much money you need to have for this, but there is a trend for having your own at-home salinity baths, your zero depth pods.
Oh, like isolation pods?
Yeah, but it's like where it's saline. It's a salt-based solution that's based off your body weight. So when you get in, it like literally you have zero gravity.
Float. So you can like buy a pod? Like
Yeah, so you can buy a pod and it closes. It's full sensory depth, sound, the whole 9. So it's just you and just like 0 G, and it opens up better meditation but initially it kind of freaks you out because you're like, when am I going to hit the floor?
I couldn't do it. I've tried to do it twice before, but I don't like when you're like laying there. You're supposed to put earplugs in, and I don't like things in my ears, and so the water just keeps going in and out of my ears, and like I can't stay for 5
You
10
can't.
minutes. I can't do it. I hate it.
You can't meditate with.
Yeah, I hate it.
I love
hate it.
earplugs. I do.
I have a weird thing with like putting earplugs in or like anything in my ears. Like I don't even like headphones that have like the earplugs.
I have the opposite problem. I have a weird thing where I
just love to stick all kinds of stuff in your ears.
Not stuff, earplugs. Like
I'm
your earplug guy.
Wait,
like everybody else is talking about, hey, make sure you got your glasses and your, and your gloves.
Straws.
Make sure you got steel-toed shoes on, like, and your hearing protection. Make sure you've got those things in your ears. I want to see.
And you're just beaming when you stick them in.
Oh yeah. Well, I was like this.
All right.
Yeah.
What else do you like to stick in your?
I don't know, man. Q-tips.
That's a
straws,
different podcast. We're not.
Fingers.
You're the first person on my left that gets so
So
excited about
the next episode is going to be breast milk, and then the one after that is going to be
Ears.
What goes in your ears?
It's going to sound like
Things Chris is stuck in his ears.
It's going to sound like empty well.
It could be like a weekly game that you guys play.
I think the shorter list are things he won't stick in his ears. It sounds like.
Okay, what won't you?
That's a very long list.
That's hilarious. That's a comment I would expect from him.
No, I
He
want
said not in your ears. Yeah, I don't want anything in my ears except for earplugs.
No, you're a beaming, dude.
Earplugs.
No, but those tanks are pretty cool. I wish I
Yes.
could build one here.
Oh yeah.
Can just get like a cooler. And just
Actually, you kind of have one already. It would take a lot of salt, but I don't know what it would do to your system. It'd probably F that thing.
You
up.
need to be able to like lay. Can you lay down in that thing? Like,
Yeah.
Totally? Yeah, you'd have to like be able to lay.
They're nice too because they have
horizontal.
like the walk-up platforms. It's like
Oh.
eggshell shaped. It's like it's
Dude, it makes
cool.
sense. Like they're making all this stuff for home now.
Oh, yeah.
Like and float tanks have been around forever. I mean, like
Really?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Like people have been talking about that for decades now. I mean, like Rogan used to talk about it like 10 years
Yeah.
ago.
Okay.
Not
Yep.
to mention Rogan again.
Yeah.
Mentioned like 16 times already. But
You sounded like John Wick right now. Yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry.
no, it's okay.
ADD.
No, it's great.
I love ADHD.
On that
I
note.
love John Wick.
On that note, ADD.
Oh yeah, wife started watching. She hated the movies, right? Because she would catch like the tail end of them. It's like just a bunch of shooting, blah 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 blah. And
She's not wrong.
Gabriel, right?
It's a good movie though.
I
but
don't understand
Ga-
issues.
Gabriel-
Gunjitsu.
So Gabriel, it's, asked her, "Hey mom, you got to watch John Wick with us, so you can, with me at least."
Yeah.
Convinced her, and Gabriel was very smart. He goes, "I just got to get her past the dog scene, right,
Yeah.
where they kill the dog."
Yeah.
And that, sure enough,
And that made the whole thing. That makes the whole thing.
Yeah.
My wife was the same
Yeah.
way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She was like, "What is this?" And I was like, "Oh, it's John Wick. It's about this like assassin guy." And she was like, "Oh, I don't really get it. I don't like violent movies." And I was like, "No, you should watch this." And then once you got past the dog thing, and
Yeah.
it's like, she's like, "Yeah, he needs to fucking kill everybody. Everybody needs to die."
Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly. Right.
You just justified
Yeah.
the murder of like 100 people.
Yeah. And then
Ever
like
seen the YouTube video where they like count how many people he's
Yes.
killed?
Yeah.
And do the poor movie? It was like,
yeah. And then your old lady looks at you like, "Would you do that for our puppy?"
yes, 100%.
You know what I mean?
I would try, but
you
I
see-
would die within the first like 10 minutes.
You see that look? It's kind of like a little like little bit of glance out the side and just kind of looking at you like, "I wonder if you do the same thing." And then she just like, John Wick, 29, 30, 31, 30, 32, 33. Headshot definitely 34.
Hundreds of people.
Yes, he
Hundreds.
does. Dude,
Throughout the 4 movies,
Yes.
he's just walking around killing
I
faceless
love.
henchmen.
I'm sorry, but that first movie,
Oh,
like
First one and the third one are my favorite.
That
Me
first
too.
scene where he's walking through his own home,
Yeah.
and then dudes just showed up to the wrong party.
Oh,
And that
He-
set the tone for the whole
Yeah.
movie because like nobody had ever seen a gunfight like
No.
no one had ever seen.
I've
anything
never
like that
seen a
before.
bunch of dudes just look at each other immediately afterwards and go,
yeah.
It was awesome. Dude.
just what happened?
the whole movie was
It's
great.
such a tone setter. You're like,
Yeah.
this is something different.
And you know what I love about those movies is it knows what it is. It's not trying to be anything.
Oh,
more than
no.
what
No.
it is.
The
It's
music
just
and
like
everything.
it's
Yeah.
goofy and it's fun and it's just like
Yeah.
pure fun,
Yeah.
pure
But
entertainment. It's
I will
violence.
say this: the people involved in it, even Keanu Reeves, go to great lengths to actually
Oh, for sure.
go do and go study, go practice. So when they're doing it, dude,
Dude,
it
you know,
looks so good.
I saw a YouTube video
Uh-huh.
where in the second movie he starts to do this thing where
Yep.
he
The
launches
John Wick, yeah.
magazines
Yeah.
out of he invented that. Like the guy who was like the gun specialist was
Yeah.
like, "What is that? What are you doing?" And he was like, "Oh, I don't know. I think I can reload faster if I do that." And they added it to the movie, and
Yeah.
now like people do it all the time now. Now it's like the John Wick.
Oh, like
Yeah.
flick it
Yeah,
out.
like Keanu Reeves
Yeah.
from training so
Yeah.
much, he was like, "Oh, I think I could save a second by doing it this way, by flipping it."
Yeah.
And he like invented the whole thing. The guy, like
No
the guy who was
way.
like the gun specialist on the. On
Now
the
I'm
movie
gonna be
talked about
diving
it.
down YouTube.
It's awesome, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is.
How much of a badass do you think Keanu Reeves actually is?
How much what?
How much of a badass do you think he actually is?
I would.
I mean, he's not John Wick for sure, but
No,
like,
he well, we
you
did look
can't
at.
practice that stuff without absorbing a little.
Well, no, we also
Oh,
looked him up
100%.
last one of the last podcasts. He's actually black belt in a couple other different things, but he's also a brown belt in Japanese jiu-jitsu. But
That
he's
doesn't
like a
count.
purple or blue in
That's
Brazilian
Nutella Jiu-Jitsu.
Yeah,
That's Nutella.
That's
yeah.
Nutella.
I would destroy him.
It's not.
That's
but
what
I would
that's-
say. But he has martial art experience.
But
so
I
it
think
all
he's
connects.
got. I mean, you can't train as hard as he does for those movies and
Yeah,
not,
and not
pick up
pick
something.
something.
I actually
I
think he's
agree.
probably really good with a gun. Like
No,
I bet he's like.
So there are
I
plethora.
think he's like a marksman.
No, there is.
Watch his
so there's,
videos.
There's so many videos of him actually doing all the gun
Training.
stuff, training, and he is like
Legit.
full out like ready, beep, and he's like tack 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 tack, and you're like, oh,
Grabs another weapon,
he
tack,
is
tack,
John
tack.
Wick,
Yeah.
and then the different gun. Then it's like, all right, ready, beep, brr, 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 and then he goes over, lifts something, like he does like an exercise, and then boop boop boop, reloads the gun, yeah. So he's doing the movie.
That's crazy. Man.
Yeah, he does his stunts too,
Yes.
or most of his
Yep.
stunts.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's
most
fun.
of his
And he's like
stunts.
in his 50s too.
Yep.
He's like mid to late 50s.
Yeah. I
Yep.
still think of him as
You know what?
Bill and Ted.
When-
He's the most efficient actor because he has the fewest lines
Oh,
of
for
any
sure.
Yeah.
movie. And he
His
gets
body
paid
does the talking.
So much money.
I love Keanu.
I
Reeves.
love him.
I love
love
him.
it.
I actually don't think he's that bad of an
He's
actor.
smartest of them all. Says less and gets paid.
You know what movie I love
ton
is
of money.
The Replacements, the one where he's
Yeah.
like the
Yeah.
football.
Oh, the football one? That's
I
a
fucking
good movie.
love that movie.
That's a great
Yes.
movie.
That movie's amazing. Every time that movie's on, I'm like, yep, here's
Yep.
2 hours of my day right now. I'm gonna watch this. Like,
Point Break, man. That's
Yeah,
one of
Point
mine.
Break.
Oh, that's right.
Ah.
Point Break.
Point Break.
Yeah.
Point Break was early though. That's when he was still like shaggy hair.
Yeah,
you know,
yeah.
And
like-
Bill and Ted's.
Yeah, and Bill and
I
Ted's.
mean, God.
And then Speed, of
Speed-
course.
Speed.
Yeah.
I mean, he's done some stinkers, but he's had a good career, man.
Again, I
Great
bet
movies.
I bet there's some AI program out there that you can take all the actors, actresses, whatever, and put all the money they have made and compare that to the lines that they have had, and he would probably be in the most efficient actors ever.
20%.
Yeah.
You know, like
Him and Arnold Schwarzenegger.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
I must
Yeah.
break you.
Yeah.
So much money.
Yeah.
Oh, no, that's Rocky.
Yes.
Yeah,
That's
that's-
self-lunging.
Yeah. Oh, go to the chopper.
Go to the chopper.
Go to the
Get
chopper.
down.
Get down.
Hey, can you just speak Filipino?
Joseph. God damn it, boy.
How do you say affirmators?
These are affirmators, so at the end of every podcast, you get to choose any card you want face down, and you get to read it out loud in Portuguese or English. And then
I
we
can't
talk
translate
about
in
it.
real time.
As best as possible.
Okay.
asbestos.
What's today's word,
Do I
sir?
just read it?
Yeah, read it.
Affection.
Oh.
I feel my love fully and express it generously. There's no harm in saying I love you, and nothing bad has ever come from a hug. That's a matter of historical record. Go check on it if you'd like. In the meantime, I'll be waiting here with open arms. See where I'm going with this?
Give me a hug.
Dude, I want to kiss you on the mouth.
Violent hugging, because this is a jiu-jitsu podcast.
That's jujitsu.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's jujitsu.
Violent
We
affection.
show the closest and most deepest affection.
You learn a lot about a
possible.
person when you roll with them.
Oh god,
And
yeah.
they sweat in your eyeball.
Especially
You learn
Gabriel.
You learn so
What is
much
that
about
riding? Is that an octopus riding a squid?
them. It sure is.
Yeah.
Affection. They're sworn enemies. You know, they compete for the same resources, so they're showing each other affection.
Yeah, it's love. Nothing but love.
You know, it's cool though, because like every day or every time we all get on the mats, man, you could probably lose count how many like slap, bump, hugs, and everything else you get. And you know,
That's right.
I love seeing you, man. Good to see you. Just yeah, bring on the affection, man. Share it. It makes
so hugs all around.
Hugs
all around.
Hey, and some of them involve hugging your wrist and
Hugging your feet now.
yeah.
Who did I do a wrist lock on just recently?
Hey, dude, you were dreaming.
It's so funny. No, I did it. I did it from.
You did
He
it by
got
accident.
purple belt, and he's like,
I did
wrist
it.
lock.
Hold on.
Like everyone.
You probably just laid down on something.
That was
and-
Joe's go-to back in the day, man. He would just be wrist locking everybody.
Go-to?
It was annoying.
Still there.
Yeah.
I don't know as much as
He
I
doesn't
used
do it
to.
as much as he used to.
No.
Well, his vision's blurring, so
He
it's
used
hard.
to He used to do it every roll. He'd throw up at least one wrist lock.
Every
Yeah.
roll, yeah.
It's annoying.
Yeah, poor Ike. I was last week before it was a coffee crew, and I like, hey, I got to work some stuff. And he's like, okay, you know, he's so nice, and you know, he's bigger, stronger, and all that. And I was just like, toe holds, wrist locks, toe holds, wrist locks, and he's like, Joe,
Took no prisoners.
and he's like, I said, I'm sorry, I got to get ready. He's like, it's like I can't do anything from head to toe. I said, yeah, that's the point, dude. I'll grab your toes, I'll grab your hands. I'll grab your hands, I'll grab your toes.
Did you grab the little toe? Or the
I
big
grab
toe?
whatever I want. You'll see, buddy. You will see. You will see. I've been nice to people.
I've never been there. Like, I
There
feel,
been other things.
I feel sad. Like,
There been other things.
I wish I could
still remember that. I
experience-
still
You wish Joe
remember.
would wrist lock you?
No, toe hold or something
Oh.
like that. Because I've never.
You've never been
experienced-
told?
No, not by. This
Oh,
guy.
not by them. Okay.
Yeah.
I was gonna say I was just gonna.
When I was
jump on
purple, I
toe
tried
holds
not to
from
do brown belt stuff. So
Oh, yeah. It was too easy.
now on. All that shit.
no. Because
All that
in
shit is
competition, you
nonsense.
can't do it.
I
So I
know.
didn't want to do roles where I can't do stuff.
Oh,
Competition
I get
because
it.
then it's
That makes
like I don't want to be
sense.
thinking, oh, I can't do this, I can't do this.
I don't get that stuff anymore. I feel like by the time you're a purple belt, you should be able to do everything.
Yeah.
Me too.
Like
I
at that,
agree.
there's no point. Like and like even not
even
being
knee
able to
bars.
heel hook in the gi makes
Yeah.
no sense. Makes no
Heel
sense.
hooks, I
None of it
agree.
makes any
Yeah,
sense. It's
I
all
think-
like arbitrary rules that are just like carryovers from a different time that
I
people
think
just
so,
don't want to
too.
get rid of. Like it's
That's me.
just
Well,
it doesn't make any sense.
I guess because you're young and you're near the end, and we're happily in the middle here. And I'm grateful that there are limitations to certain joints and move. I from a parent to where I'm at least in my life, I appreciate the acceleration that IBJJF at least has, where they keep them safe, and then when they know they're strong, they allow more.
Sure. For
And then-
kids, like that's
And then as you become an adult, as you tell on, man, my age, I'm on my feet 90% of the time. Like for my level of work, I don't need to have a blown out knee at my age. It makes sense, right? In a jiu-jitsu tournament. So I like the fact that there are certain moves they start pulling away.
These poor blue belts, dude.
Yeah. As you
I
get
would,
older.
I would say wait to have this conversation again after you get your purple belt and see if you still feel the same way. Because by the time you get your purple belt, you've seen enough shit that like even if it's something that you know you can get hurt, like
Yeah.
you don't want, like you don't have to be a hero. You just tap.
No.
Like
Oh, I do that.
if
I
I
do
feel
that
like I'm
now.
even close to a
Yeah.
heel hook, I'm tapping.
I do
Like,
that now.
Yep.
I'm not
Yeah.
like I'm not gonna blow my knee out.
No, I do that now, but I also like because we're in a gym, it's a different atmosphere. But in comp, people forget where they are sometimes and get spasmatic. I do appreciate that there's some type of structure to kind of throttle some of that back.
But again, like if I'm competition, I'm having my mindset that guy could take my leg. So
yeah, for sure. Yeah.
So it's I don't know. It's a weird thing. Like that's one reason why I like working with Davis so much is because, and you see me roll with him. We roll hard because I want to be used to the situation. Then I will tap, and when I know like I don't know what's going on, and he's good about it. But if I don't tap, he's gonna crank the shit out of it.
Mm-hmm.
And I know when to learn the lesson that way. It's one of those things where, where's the thin line of being like macho and then putting yourself out of your comfort zone?
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people don't like to roll with T, and I get that.
Mm-hmm.
I try to roll with T for me as much as I can, and I get hurt. I try to roll with Richard right after him. I try to roll with Marcio. I try to roll with Bruno. If I have a good night, I try to roll with all 3 or 4 of them in a row. And I think that's one of the reasons why
you're always hurt.
Yeah. Or your groin hasn't healed in 2 years.
I'm hurt, but I could be hurt trying to do something, or I could be hurt sitting on the couch and doing nothing.
No, I'm not saying to go. See, you're going to an extreme. I'm not saying to go home and sit on the couch. I'm saying, heal.
Rehab, man. Rehab.
Maybe pick one of them.
Well, I mean,
hit all 4 in a week.
I'm
or do some steroids. One of the two. You got to do
TRT.
one of the two.
Yeah,
you got to go one way or the other.
Shit, could you imagine me on TRT? I'm breaking bones.
I would want you
I would break bones.
Your body would probably heal.
He would eat the
And
microphone.
thank you.
He'd be over here like,
Yeah, we'll see.
Eating crayons.
Maybe I'll just do carnivore diet.
I don't think that's going to help you, man.
I mean, I'm not even going to cook the meat. I mean, I'm just going to eat it raw.
People do that, man.
I know.
I like carnivore diet. I like it.
I don't like it, to be honest. I like
the taco
variation,
diet.
but I think it's more like at this point, it's just because I've struggled with discipline so much that like just doing something that extreme makes me feel like I'm winning at something. Like
I have to go extreme
every day
too.
that I don't eat carbs. I think like at the end of the day, like okay, I won something today.
You have control.
Okay.
Yeah, like something is happening, and I feel like if I can compound that over time, it'll start to apply to other stuff. I just struggle with disciplines like so much.
Yeah.
It's like one of my biggest.
I like the
struggles.
taco diet because there's only so much you can fit in a taco.
Me too.
Bet you could fit more in your ear.
Yeah.
But
But you can eat 6 of them bitches, and then
How many taquitos
Can
you fit in your ear?
let's count.
Damn, I don't think we're gonna let that one go.
No,
now.
we're not.
Hey, so discipline, like this podcast, we always every Wednesday we do it, no matter what.
gosh.
Like there's rare occasions where I'm traveling and nobody steps up to the plate and hits record here and does it, but I would be okay. Like there's the entrance, you just come in and boom, do it.
I'm a neighbor.
But there's a discipline to do it. Sometimes don't feel like doing it,
Yeah.
but you just have to freaking do it, right?
Yeah.
And I'm not trying to make it circle time right now because we'll be here for another hour.
Yep.
So on that note, let's go ahead and
Close out.
Begin the any parting words.
no, nice for having me, guys. This was fun.
It was.
I'm glad I
Thank
could
you.
participate.
It was time kind of flew.
Oh yeah.
We kind of let it go when it's flowing like this.
Yeah.
It's like cool, whatever. But we tried to limit it to 1 hour, and we're getting close to double that. So let's go ahead and
Did we really do 2 hours?
end
That's
it pretty much.
Successful.
Go ahead and give us your
So my brother Matt, Alex, Simoes.
your brother. What?
My brother on the mat.
Okay.
I thought you said my brother Matt.
Matt.
Yeah.
My brother
Matt
Matt.
Simoes.
My brother
Simoes.
Matt.
Like, wait, you have is that?
We've only known each other for 7 years.
Yeah, brown belt extraordinaire. He is the proud something working something for 12 years.
Yeah.
It's on the carnivore diet. He likes to drop in gyms.
What is he dropping?
And get beat up at
I
the.
just get my ass kicked.
We talked about the value of breast milk, the value of smelling salts.
Yeah.
I'm gonna order some right now.
How wrestling is a big advantage for Jiu-Jitsu. Our bromances with Keanu. How Alex likes to practice the lazy style. And the one thing that I have
Is that jiu-jitsu?
Lazy
Yeah,
jitsu.
lazy
Lazy jitsu, baby.
Is that
That's my favorite.
I just want to
jiu-jitsu.
make sure it's just jiu-jitsu.
What is it
Lazy.
called?
Lazy jitsu.
Lazy.
It's the
Yeah.
jitsu. I don't have to move so much, but I still smother you.
And I've been there.
Yeah, it's called I Win.
Is that related to fat jitsu?
Yeah, absolutely. It's like adjacent to fat jitsu.
Who was that? That
Travis.
Said
has
that? Travis.
fat-
Yeah, that was
fat-
Travis.
Yeah.
He goes, oh yeah, I practice fat jitsu.
Yeah. And the best thing, even though there's a lot of good things, is for those of you that are in jiu-jitsu, stay with the style of jiu-jitsu that you fall in love with.
Yeah, gi.
Gi.
I didn't make that up, by the way.
No
Somebody
gi.
said that to me once, and it just stuck with me.
Author unknown.
Author is Alex.
Yeah, I like that.
I can't take credit for that. It was not me.
How you doing?
Good. Party words, sir. Let's go.
Parting words. Man, Alex, thank you for coming out. This is great. This just goes to show, like, kind of the vibe we have at our gym, where 2 hours of just talking story just And that's all we're doing. We're just sharing story. We're trying to get to know the brothers we have on the mats, sisters on the mats, because when you're rolling, you don't got time to talk. So this is our time to share that. So thank you for sharing your story.
Thanks, guys. Thanks for having me.
Thank you both for making this consistent. So let's.
I appreciate you.
So you guys are part of my accountability system. 2 of my do-betters for this year are to be careful with my yeses, because I tend to overcommit, but follow through my commitments. So I challenge y'all to challenge me if I say I'm going to do something, is to ensure that I am taking those steps to go do it. So byproduct of that is I'm careful with my yeses. So
Nice.
outside of that, shout out to everybody out there. Veterans, if you need a place to talk, come talk. Drop us a message, whatever it is. We're here for you. We're here to listen. So I just want you to know there are other brothers out here who are willing to help, but we can't have a conversation if you're not willing to start. So reach out to us. We'll find help.
Heck yeah, even through Jiu-Jitsu.
Even through
Jiu-Jitsu is a
Jiu-Jitsu.
great outlet. We have a really nice program at Soul at Soul Fighters, where you can come in and basically train for free as a white belt until you get your blue belt. So yes, I will promote that. And it exists, by the way. We set it up with Heroes Night Out. It just hasn't really been promoted too much.
Shout out to Heroes Night Out. Shout out to Soul Fighters.
Yeah. And on that note, I want to thank our viewers, our wonderful and beautiful viewers, for your support. And on 3, we are out. El Pinche.